You're looking live at East Jordan High School Field, the site of today's Lake Michigan Conference baseball doubleheader clash between the Raiders and the Red Devils. Charles Strail along with Shane Smith here for Next Level Broadcasting, getting ready for the first inning between Raiders and Red Devils here from East Jordan High School. It will be Hunter Cesaro on the mound for the Red Devils, Patrick Sterrett, leadoff hitter for the Raiders, and the big left-handed southpaw on the mound for the Red Devils. He'll feature a mid to low 80s fastball, a good breaking 10-4 slider, and a couple other off-speed pitches. Here's the first pitch to Sterrett. That's chopped down the first base line. It's going to be a tough play at first. Sterrett avoids the tag and is safe at first base. So first pitch swinging with Patrick Sterrett. He got on base, tapped it down the first base line. He's on board for the Raiders, and that'll bring up number 2, Troy Nickel. Troy Nickel will catch the first game of today's doubleheader. So 1 on for the Raiders. That's Sterrett on first base. Nickel steps into the batter's box. Here's the delivery from Cesaro. Down in the dirt, Sterrett taking off, throw it on to first or second. They got him. An excellent throw down to second base. And Shane, was that a called strike or would that miss down and low?
That was in the dirt, Charles,
okay.
So quite low. But we've got quite the matchup between these two teams. Both top 3 in the conference, 19-3 record. Charlevoix with a 19-3-1 overall. Both top 10 in their respective divisions. East Jordan number 3 in Division 4. Charlevoix number 7 in Division 3. So we've got quite the game ahead of us here. That one chops away in foul territory. Troy with 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sterrett, just as you saw a moment ago, did get thrown out at second on an attempted steal after one hit the dirt from Cesaro. And that one's just to the left of the strike zone, 2-2.
Nice looking pitch, a late breaking action on it, just missed the outside portion of the plate. And this one's chopped right back to the mound. Cesaro will turn field, flip over to first base for the second out of the first inning. So that was a nice little, nice play by the pitcher to just kind of slowly and routinely go over there, field that one. Nice little flip over to first, get the out. Made it look routine. That can be sometimes a tough play to make. As A.J. Spiegel stands in, the number 3 hitter for the Raiders, takes low and outside for ball 1. 1-0 the count on Spiegel. Lefty on lefty matchup here. This one's low and outside, ball 2. Shane, as you were saying, both these teams ranked very highly in their respective divisions. A very anticipated matchup today as the 2-0 fastball is in for a called strike. Yeah, the implications here, the conference would be split if the games are split today, but whichever team wins 2 games, sweeps the other opponent, will have the edge in the conference standings. It's also predicated on what happens in the Harbor Springs matchup as well. Here's the 3-1 pitch to Spiegel, is on the outside part of the plate for strike 2, full count now.
Boy, so far 3 up, 2 down at the moment. Not the way the Raiders wanted to come out swinging here against a tough opponent, as that one comes swinging out towards the fans.
Well, I think this game will probably be played within a 1 to 2 run spread throughout the entire game. I don't really see either of these teams giving too much to the other, as Spiegel's going to chop that one foul down the first base line.
Got to give credit to our lone ump today. Unfortunately, we had one could not make it, and we could not get a replacement. So our ump here is trying to call everything today.
He made a good call down
on
the second base stealing attempt by Sterrett. Sterrett just didn't get a good jump, and it was a really good throw down to second by catcher Ben Reed to get Sterrett at second on the stolen base attempt. Here's the full count pitch to Spiegel, chopped over to the shortstop, coming in fielding, making the clean fielding, and the put out goes 4-3. Red Devils are up to bat in the bottom of the first inning as Charlevoix is out in the top of the first. So Shane, the 3 hitters for the Raiders go 1-2-3. Well, Sterrett reached on an infield single but was thrown out at second. And a 1-2-3 inning for the Raiders to begin this top half of the first inning. It's definitely the way that you would want to draw this up if you were the Red Devils pitching staff. I was impressed. The ability to execute their pitches. Also, I mean, you want to talk about coming out of the gates with a highly momentous opportunity. Catcher Ben Reed for the Red Devils catches it, fires a seed down to second base. They get the tag out of Patrick Sterrett, arguably one of the faster runners in the Lake Michigan Conference. That was a really, really well-executed play by the Red Devils. Not only the catcher, but throwing down and getting the tag by the shortstop.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much said it all, Charles, but Ben Reed has not let one get past him so far, and we could see that. You know, our pitcher for East Jordan, Cicero there, he had a couple of errant throws, you know, and obviously allowed Patrick Sterrett to knock one up the center there, but otherwise it's been a very clean game. He did not get a strikeout as of yet, but it's been all the work of his catcher and fellow baseman out there, keeping things under wraps for the Red Devils.
Yeah, on the mound today for the Raiders, it will be Bryce Johnson. We've seen Bryce a couple of times. Bryce, arguably the #1 pitcher for the Raiders, as he's he had a tough outing last time versus he had a really good outing versus Traverse City St. Francis, but a tough outing 1 week ago against, Shane, spare me. Help me out here. Boyne City.
Yeah.
And leading off for the Red Devils will be #7. That is Dawson Carey. Righty stands in, waits on the first pitch from Bryce Johnson. That one misses high. As you can see, the velocity for Bryce Johnson is right around the mid-80s as well. Fastball right around 84, 86. It'll fluctuate in there. Curveball, slider, changeup for Bryce, as that one's fouled high and away out of play.
Can see why no cars are parked over there. That would have cracked a window.
Here's the 1-1. The righty-on-righty matchup for the first hitter for the Red Devils. Swung on and missed. Some high heat featured early for Johnson, as he's now ahead in the count, no balls and 2 strikes.
That one chopped off the dirt.
That one got right up in on our camera behind the plate.
Giving our viewers at home good view of the action.
That's right.
Up close and personal. Here in East Jordan, the 1-2 head high, causing Carey to duck.
Yeah,
that one would have rung the bell a little bit, Charles.
Yeah, that curveball he didn't snap it off at the correct release point from his arm. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Carey swung on and missed. Nice looking cheese fastball right down the middle by Bryce Johnson. Gets the strikeout of the leadoff hitter for the Red Devils. So Carey's down. Red Devils' next man up to bat is
Ethan Thomas.
Ethan Thomas, the #2 hitter. Tall, lengthy righty. Takes the first delivery from Bryce Johnson, and Bryce Johnson has, it appears, his high gas so far this afternoon. Mid-80s fastball, locating it well, and throwing it right down the pipe.
I mean, you can't be much better right now if you're Bryce Johnson.
0-2
causing
pitch
these guys to swing and miss, and catches that guy looking, second straight strikeout of the game.
Yeah, curveball just froze the knees of the hitter there. I mean, when you go mid-80s fastball right down the middle, 2 consecutive pitches, and come back and freeze them with a curveball, it's tough to adjust to the curveball when you're expecting that fastball. Here's the first pitch. Bryce Johnson looking for a 1-2-3 inning. That one missed high and away on the #3 hitter for the Red Devils. That's
Corbin Russell.
Big kudos to our home plate umpire today. Also, the second base umpire and outfield umpire. One referee or one umpire today for today's doubleheader. So certainly earning those paychecks today.
Oh, my goodness. He's got 2 waters here next to him. You can tell he's going to be earning every single sip of that, dealing with this heat out here all by himself as Bryce Johnson goes 3 up, 3 down.
Bryce Johnson strikes out the side.
Yeah.
And one thing that we saw from Bryce there is he was able to locate his fastball, and he got 2 strikeouts on the fastball, 1 on the curveball looking. A big piece for Bryce's game is for him to be able to locate that fastball early and often, get ahead in the count, and he doesn't have to throw the off-speed pitch to get swings and misses. I mean, we can see that for the first couple of innings, as we saw 2 weeks ago in the Traverse City St. Francis game, Bryce is able, once he's kind of dialed in, he can get swing and misses on that fastball and the changeup, and then oftentimes hitters aren't able to move the bat off their shoulders when he drops the curveball in because they're expecting that fastball. And you know, his curveball has a good break. It starts out right at the head of the right-handed hitter and then kind of curves back in to catch the inside portion of the plate. Front door slider is the terminology for those looking for the correct terminologies at home, but the front door breaking ball is definitely what Bryce is capable of featuring, and we saw it when he got Ethan Thomas on that pitch earlier in the bottom of the first inning. So we go to the top of the second. Raiders due up will be the 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Ryan Pearl followed by Owen Waha. Hey, while we get a chance, want to thank our sponsors today, Bergman Marine, Lemerin Agency Insurance, also Charlevoix Agency Insurance. Also, want to remind everyone that if a hitter today hits a home run, they will get a free Maple Creamy.
All right.
And we'll get back to that in a second here. As
I'm interested.
As that first pitch misses high and away. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Pearl. That one's chopped down the first base line. Couple steps over, gloved, and goes back to get the out at first is Brendan Ennis. And 1 out in the bottom or top of the second for the Raiders as Pearl is retired. Waha steps into the batter's box. Waha most likely will pitch the second game of today's doubleheader for the Raiders. Here's the first pitch, a little bit low.
Oh, and Waha, just a crafty of a pitcher is Bryce Johnson, in my opinion. He had a great showing against Boyne City last week, and I have no doubt whatsoever that he'll do an amazing job here at East Jordan. Even though I would say they're a much tougher opponent than Boyne City, he's got plenty of pitches in his arsenal to really get some strikeouts.
So Waha now ahead in the count with a favorable hitter's count, 3 balls, no strikes. I would imagine that he'll probably just be relaxing on this one. We'll see if the take sign is on. And he takes a 4-pitch walk. We're on YouTube, so if you scan that, you can get it on YouTube. Yeah. So Owen Waha on. Next up is Hunter Lemerand with an opportunity with the Raiders. They've got the first pitch in there for a called strike. Raiders now with leadoff hitters on in both innings to start today's game. The 0-1 pitch to Lemerand. Cesaro is a little bit down in the dirt. And as you can see there in center field, we got the Dixon bus pulling in to the game.
You wouldn't have a Raiders sporting event without the Dixon bus.
That's fair enough. As that one's in the dirt, it's going to bounce past the catcher, and Waha will advance down to second base. Count now 1 ball, 1 strike against the Raiders sophomore Hunter Lemerand. Lemerand also manning first base today. He'll man first base in the second game if he doesn't find himself pitching on the mound. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Lemerand. That's just above the shoe tops, and misses inside for ball 2. Shane, let's take a look and monitor the lead that Waha has out there on second base right now. He's getting fairly consistent.
Solid about
maybe
5 steps.
5 steps as the 3-1 pitch to Lumberand is chopped right back to the pitcher. Fielded by Cesaro and thrown over to first. The Red Devils come back to third to try to get the lead runner in Waha, but are unable to do so as Waha advances to third base on the chopper back to the pitcher. And that'll leave it up to Bryce Johnson with 2 outs down in the top of the second inning to help his cause here. Bryce on the mound in the top half, or the first game of today's doubleheader, as he's got an opportunity to show what he can do with 2 outs in the top of the first. And
Johnson, not the biggest hitter on our team, only a .244 batting average, but he does have 11 hits, 13 runs batted in so far this season. So he's got a great quick man down there on third base. Raiders obviously looking to get that early lead against a formidable rival here in East Jordan.
Yeah, we'll see how they want to attack Bryce. The 1-0 pitch. There's a fastball right down the middle for a called strike. Like to see both pitchers really establishing that fastball here early if you're a fan of pitching. I know a lot of people like runs and scoring and hitting, but there's also a large segment of baseball fans that love to see a pitcher's duel. And right now we might be treated to seeing just that. 1 ball, 2 strikes now the count on Bryce Johnson. The delivery. Swung on and missed. Fastball blew it right by him. And the Raiders are out of the top of the second inning. Red Devils due up will be the 4, 5, and 6 hitters, as we've got just what we thought we might have today. A pitcher's duel. Each pitcher so far with a couple of strikeouts. Johnson struck out the side in the bottom of the first. 2 strikeouts in the top half of the second inning for Cesaro and the Red Devils. And let's see here, leading off the second inning for East Jordan will be Brendan Ennis, the first baseman. He's made a couple of plays over at first. He's seen a lot of action and actually had 2 ground balls hit to him, one of them by Patrick Sterrett, the other one by Owen Waha. Actually, no, Owen Waha drew a walk. It was Ryan Pearl that grounded out to Ennis in the top of the second inning. We go to the bottom of the second inning today, brought to you by Bergman Marine. Bergman Marine wants you to know that they can definitely help out with any type of marine appliances, especially trying to get that boat into the water. You know, Shane, when it's almost Memorial Day weekend, you got an extra day this weekend. Bergman Marine, they can store your boat. They can definitely help you with all your maintenance, and they can launch it for you. So that's Bergman Marine, our second inning sponsor.
I got to say, if you haven't gotten your boat out by now, you might be behind the ball a little bit.
Well, you know, you got a lot of different things going on as it pertains to sporting events. Weekends are pretty much packed all the time, and, you know, trying to get that boat in the water. Before you get the boat in, you got to get the dock and the lift in. So, honestly, just leave it up to the professionals at Bergman Marine. They can take care of all your needs. And here's the first pitch from Johnson to the leadoff hitter, number 4 hitter, Brendan Ennis for the Red Devils. First pitch is fouled way back behind the screen. Shane, we've seen 1 base hit here in an inning and a half of baseball so far. I would imagine that this game has a pretty tight lid on it as it pertains to the amount of hits, runs we see with these 2 pitchers we've got going today.
Yeah, neither one of them is going to allow any sort of big hit just by the look of things so far. Both pitchers are extremely dialed in at the moment. Only a couple of errant pitches per inning. Mostly just things getting right down the middle and in a hurry. You know, 80-plus mile-an-hour fastballs. Bryce Johnson and Cesaro both have a wide arsenal here, as Johnson already has 2 strikes in his favor. Started off the first inning with 3 straight strikeouts.
Here's the 1-2 pitch to Ennis. Curveball froze him. And I think Ennis thought it was a little bit low, and it definitely was a good breaking pitch. It definitely caught the inside lower half of that strike zone and the inner third of the plate. But yet another strikeout for Johnson on that curveball on a 0-1 or count that he was ahead in, as that one's fouled off. Ben Reed, the lefty, up to bat for the Red Devils with one down in the bottom of the second. There's a strike. That one just missed on the inside part of the plate for ball one. Count goes even now. So far, Bryce Johnson working with his typical pace on the mound, catching it, letting it go, getting it back, waiting about 10 to 12 seconds before he's ready to deliver back to home plate for another pitch, maybe 10 seconds or less. As that one misses outside, count goes now 3 balls and 1 strike in favor of Reed and the Red Devils. 3-1 pitch from Johnson is outside. Ooh, got him on the outside part of the plate for a strike, and that'll bring the count to full. You laughed there, Shane.
Well, yeah, I saw not only a reaction there by where'd he go? Breed, yeah, but also the crowd was not too thrilled about that. So
And there's the full count pitch hit in the air down the third base line, and a nice play made by third baseman Ryan Pearl to get the leadoff or second hitter for the Red Devils.
It just adds a little humor to the game when you get the crowd action into it. You just got to feel bad, though, for this ref or ump, and hopefully give him a little leeway as he's the only one here tonight.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's tough enough umpiring a high-level high school baseball game with 2 umpires, let alone 1.
Yeah.
And the first pitch from Bryce Johnson is in there for a strike right down the middle. Johnson so far with 4 strikeouts. And that one got the bottom of the strike zone as well. The fastball has been located well so far in this at bat. Let's see what he chooses to throw here on the 0-2 count. Fastball, which misses a little bit outside. What do you think, Shane? Here, 1-2 count. Maybe the fastball's been working well for him. We'll see what he attempts to throw. Looks like he opted to go back to the fastball and just couldn't locate it as the count goes even. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Working on the number 6 hitter in the lineup for the Red Devils.
Number 9, Eli Burns, and he swings and misses there.
The fastball blew it by him. Bryce Johnson gets his 5th strikeout of the game. We head to the top of the 3rd. This game is moving right along. We're going to the top of the 3rd. Due up for the Raiders will be Jack Drema. And so it'll be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for the Raiders in the top of the 3rd inning. We'll see if they can muster any base runners so far. Red Devils without a base runner. Charlevoix with 2 base runners. So Charlevoix left 2 runners on base so far. East Jordan still looking for that first hit. You could, there was a point in time where it looked like Ben Reed might be able to draw a walk from Bryce Johnson. That 3-1 pitch just nicked the outside part of the plate, and then Johnson came back from the 3-1 deficit and got it to a full count, and then Reed eventually popped out down the third base line, and the catch was made by Ryan Pearl. So 5 strikeouts after 2 innings of play for Bryce Johnson, and Jack Drema stands in to the batter's box for the Raiders in the top of the 3rd inning. And Drema waits on the first pitch, which misses high and away. Corbin Russell, the pitcher for the Red Devils, want to apologize. We got that corrected. The first pitch from Russell was a little bit tall as well. So it'll go 2 balls, no strikes. Russell, the lefty, works from the windup, delivers, and that one got the outside part of the plate for strike 1. lefty delivers the 2-1 pitch, swung on and missed. Changeup that was located down and inside to the right-handed Dreama.
Dreama maybe not the most imposing figure here on the Raiders team, but he's had some timely hits as he goes on the 2-2 count. Swings and strikes out, giving Russell his third strikeout of the day.
That was a big-time pitch sequence for Russell so far. He went fastball away after he got down in the count, 1 ball, no strikes, came back with the changeup down and in, finished Dreama off with a fastball away. And that one misses a little bit outside to the number 9 hitter for the Raiders.
That would be Emmett Bergman.
Yep. Bergman swings on the 1-0 fastball. Count goes even to 1 ball, 1 strike. You can see Russell starting to develop a little bit more of a rhythm here as he's continuously working from the windup. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Got the bottom of the strike zone as Russell and the Red Devils go ahead and they count 1 ball, 2 strikes. The 1-2 pitch missed, just missed. Strike zone as we're back even to 2 balls, 2 strikes. And that one missed, send the count full. Shane, there's a lot of people here out today, a lot of attendance. You know, it's a beautiful afternoon. 3-2 pitch from Russell. Got Bergman on the outside part of the plate for a called third looking. The second strikeout of the inning for Russell and the Red Devils as the leadoff man, Patrick Sterrett, now comes up to the batter's box with 2 outs in the top of the 3rd inning. Sterrett reached on an infield single to lead the game off.
Corbin Russell throwing one a little high there. I wonder if he knows just how strong of a hitter Sterrett is. Yeah, I would say he might be intentionally trying to walk him here.
Well, I don't think that there'll be an intentional walk per se. I just think that he doesn't want to give him anything, you know, inner third, middle third of the plate, as the 2-0 pitch is popped up foul behind the screen. And that's one of these things now with all the different technology and the advancement of technology that these teams have access to, is you can get spray charts and you can get hot zones of where a hitter likes it. As the 1-2 pitch to Sterrett is swung on and missed. Count goes even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. But there's so much more information available to teams now, and you can find out and you can kind of designate. We'll get to that as the 2-2 pitch from Russell misses inside to Sterrett. You can kind of set a target area of where and how you want to pitch each hitter. As the full count payoff pitch from Russell is popped high in the air on the infield. Coming in to make the grab is Ennis, and the Raiders are retired in the top of the 3rd inning. Red Devils coming up to bat. Leading off for the Red Devils in the bottom of the 3rd inning will be the 7, 8, and 9 hitters for them. As Bryce Johnson heads back out on the bump for the Raiders in the bottom of the 3rd. That was a clean frame by the Red Devils. 2 strikeouts, 1 pop out, and this game is moving along to the bottom of the 3rd inning.
I'm going to make a bit of a prediction here. It might be a little bold, but we'll see.
Go for it.
The team who scores first wins this game, just by how the energy and the momentum of this game has been. Stagnant on both sides. I feel that the team who scores first wins this game. I'm just putting that out there.
Well, Shane, that's not really a bold take, as we've seen 5 scoreless frames so far tossed by both of these pitchers. Russell, once again, we want to apologize. We just had our numbers mixed up between Russell and Cesaro for the Red Devils, but Russell on the mound with 4 strikeouts so far through 3 innings pitched. Bryce Johnson, he's pitching for the Raiders today, doing an excellent job. He has 5 strikeouts through 2 innings. So both these pitchers finding their stuff early, as they like to say.
It might not be such a bold prediction, but if East Jordan scores first, you know, the way the Raiders haven't had much luck with the bat, certainly the least we've seen so far this season, I don't know if they'd be able to come out of the hole, especially since they haven't seen what the hole looks like much at all this season. But we'll just see here as got an attempted bunt there. Instead draws it away and gets the strike. And that's
it's number 18 for the Red Devils. We'll get that number here shortly as the second pitch is in for a called strike. I believe that's Ryder Malpus for the Red Devils. The 0-2 pitch from Johnson is called for a strike on the outside part of the plate for strike 3. So strikeout number 6 for Johnson and the Raiders in the bottom of the third inning.
Devin Olstrom taking the bag now.
Yeah, Devin Olstrom, he'll stand in there as the righty. Goes about 6 foot, and he takes first pitch inside for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch to Olstrom, just inside. 2 balls, no strikes, as Olstrom has worked his way ahead of the count. 2 balls, no strikes, in a favorable hitter's position.
But a couple smiles here from Olstrom. I think he knows that he got away with one there on that last pitch.
Well, it just worked into his favor.
Yeah.
The 2-1 pitches, or 2-0 pitches swung on and missed. That was probably ball 3 if he lets that one go by. And he was smiling at that one too. 2-1 from Johnson. That one just missed. So it'll send it to 3 balls, 1 strike. Opportunity for Johnson and the Raiders to get out of this third inning. But he'll have to deal with Olstrom here first in the 3-1 count. And that one's chopped foul right at home plate. A full count now on the number 8 hitter for the Red Devils. Johnson's payoff pitch. Strike 3 on the inside of the part of the plate for the second out of the inning. Johnson's 7th punch out of the afternoon. And Shane, we saw some more smiles from Olstrom, the hitter for the Red Devils there. He didn't think that that one was on the inside part of the plate.
I guess not, but I just noticed this as we got a little flicker over to shortstop.
Waha's going to field, make the throw, and Lemerin wasn't able to squeeze it. It kind of dropped out of his glove at the very last second. It was like right on the edge of his glove, and it just wasn't. He wasn't able to hold it into the webbing of the first baseman's mitt. Nice ranging play by Waha. Fielded, planted, threw a very good throw over to first, but it just pulled Lemerin off the base just a tad. It wasn't quite able to make the stretch.
But I do want to say we've got a handy number up here on the scoreboard showing the efficiency between Corbin Russell and Bryce Johnson here. Johnson with 28 pitches, Russell with 47, as Johnson scores another strike so far.
Yeah, and definitely Russell has probably worked through a little bit more havoc with 2 runners on the base path. This is the first runner on base for the Red Devils, so Johnson now going from the stretch instead of the windup as that curveball's popped up high in the air. Coming over is that was Spiegel. Spiegel makes the play for the Raiders, calls off Lemerin, and the Red Devils are out in the bottom of the third. We head to the top of the 4th inning from East Jordan High School, still locked up at 0 between Raiders and Red Devils. And this game has lived up to the billing in terms of what we thought it would be of the pitchers duel between Bryce Johnson and Corbin Russell. The lefty Russell heads out back on the mound for the Red Devils. He's allowed 1 hit, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts through 3 innings pitched for the Red Devils. Johnson still with a no-hitter going, as that error was, I think, put on the tab of either the shortstop or the first baseman for the Raiders, which allowed the first base runner for the Red Devils. As we talked about earlier, Russell featuring Low 80s to mid 80s fastball. The curveball is more of a 12 to 4 breaking curveball and a changeup as well. So far, haven't seen too much fielding. I think only 4 balls have been hit on the ground. A couple of infield pop-ups. Nothing hit in the outfield. Nothing hit hard, actually.
No. No, this would be a great day for the outfielders to work on their 10. Because that's about all they've had to do so far.
Yep. There's the first pitch from Russell to Nickel. Foul tipped into the glove for strike 1.
The 1-1 count now for Nickel. Fastball right down the center. Catches him looking. 1-2, scoreless through 3. And he's caught swinging on that, giving Russell his 6th strikeout of the evening.
Yeah, Russell just said, here's my best fastball. Go ahead and try and hit it.
Right.
Well-executed pitch sequence for the lefty on the mound for the Red Devils as that first pitch to A.J. Spiegel missed a little bit low and outside. Lefty-on-lefty matchup will typically favor the pitcher. But that statistic is more so of the collegiate and professional ranks of baseball. Sometimes in high school baseball, it's more so about the pitch location as opposed to the matchup. The 2-0 pitch misses inside for ball number 3 as Spiegel and the Raiders now up in the count, 3 balls, no strikes. Spiegel, the number 3 hitter, waits on the 3-0 pitch as he was swinging away on the 3-0 and fouled it off right back to the screen to the right of where we're located here this afternoon. There's the 3-1 delivery to Spiegel. That one missed low and outside, so the Raiders got the second man up on base with 1 out. That will bring up the cleanup hitter, Ryan Pearl, for the Raiders. Only 3rd base runner of the afternoon allowed by Russell and the Red Devils, so he's been working relatively stress-free out there on the bump. It's time called by Pearl as they're going to check the runner over on first base.
First offering for Pearl. Right down the middle.
What a throw, man.
My goodness. And through the dust, he's called out.
Through the dust, he's called out. And Ben Reed put an absolute missile down to second base. And that was his 2nd runner caught stealing of the game. Perfect location. Really well executed by the Red Devils. As that one misses low. 1 ball, 1 strike to count now on the cleanup hitter Ryan Pearl for the Raiders. A.J. Spiegel was just cut down at second base by an excellent throw by Ben Reed. The 1-1 pitch from Russell is just a tad bit low. Russell started this 4th inning with 47 pitches used. We'll get that updated after this inning as Pearl pops this one high in the infield. Coming over his first baseman, Ennis. He makes the catch, and the Raiders are out in the top of the 4th inning. Red Devil bats coming up in the bottom of the 4th. The Red Devils force the Raiders to the Raiders had a runner on with 1 out, but an excellent throw from Reed got Spiegel, and essentially that was the major mitigation of the Raider threat in the top half of the 4th inning. And if we look out on the scoreboard, it's nothing but zeros posted. 60 pitches now used for Russell and the Red Devils, so his pitch count is in miraculous shape here through 4 innings pitched. His official line is 4 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk. And 6 strikeouts.
Yep.
Had to do some quick math there. But 6 strikeouts unofficial for Russell and the Red Devils. So,
ladies and gentlemen, this is Charles Strail sitting next to me, the baseball nerd and man with a elephant memory.
well, I mean, we do have, a lot of different ways for us to, keep up with the statistics. We got iPads and different, electronic devices here to help assist that. So,
you don't have to be so humble. None of those things are on right now. This is all Charles Strail's memory, ladies and gentlemen. As that one pops up for a base hit right to center field.
yeah, a good piece of hitting by Ethan Thomas. He took the first pitch he saw from Bryce Johnson. He knew he was probably going to get a fastball, as most pitchers want to get ahead in the account. So typically in a fastball count, no balls, no strikes, Thomas did the right thing. Just a nice short swing, put it right back up the middle. That's the first hit of the afternoon for the Red Devils, as Corbin Russell now stands in. That one's fouled out of play. First hit of the afternoon allowed for Bryce Johnson and the Rayders, so Johnson will move from the windup to the stretch delivery. The 0-1 pitch, curveball misses just a tad high. Count goes now to 1 ball, 1 strike. We'll see how the Red Devils want to play this, Shane, if they want to put Thomas on the move on first base, given that runs are projected to be at a premium in this game.
Well, we'll definitely see as Bryce Johnson keeps Russell honest there as he takes a generous about 4.5-step lead off first once again. Johnson getting a little base throwing practice in. Why not? 1 ball, 1 strike.
Johnson with a fairly quick move over to first base. Got to keep an eye on Thomas. Here's the 1-1 delivery to Russell, and that one missed outside. And sometimes for a pitcher, Shane, and for everyone listening at home, when you're used to working without any runners on base and all of a sudden you get one on base, it can be a little bit distracting as Johnson locates the outer third part of the strike zone to send the count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. But like I said, it can be a little bit distracting when you have that runner on base after you're not accustomed to having that runner on base. 2-2 pitch, curveball high and away for ball 3. So this will put the runners on the move. Anything, well, with no outs, it might depend, but Thomas will definitely be on the move on any sign of hit. And that one's drilled in the air deep to center field. Going back, it's Patrick Sterrett, and it is gone. Home run for Corbin Russell. With 1 swing of the bat, Russell does it for the Red Devils. And it's a 2-run blast. One swing of the bat from the lefty, and he put it out to straightaway center field.
And it's not like it just barely made it over the fence. No, it cleared it by a good 15, 20-plus feet. That was an absolute bomb dropped by Russell. Way to go. Kudos to him for bringing East Jordan and Charlevoix out of this scoreless 4 innings so far.
Want to give Corbin Russell a shout-out. He will receive a free Maple Creamy from our as that one missed just outside to first baseman Brendan Ennis. So free Maple Creamy certificate going to Corbin Russell. That one misses low. So 2 balls, no strikes on the first baseman for the Red Devils.
As Johnson goes on the 2-0. That one's dug out of the dirt.
Ranging over Spiegel, he'll make the throw over to Lemarand, and Ennis is out for the first out of the inning.
You don't see that too often when a hit is made when the bat makes contact with the dirt. But he indeed does it. Was only a couple steps away from getting on base as number 10, Ben Reed, takes the plate once again. That one low. Just off the lower right corner there. Spiegel, not quite as sharp as he was. Things have gotten to him just a little bit after that 2-run strike and a lively East Jordan dugout now.
Well, you hit a 400-foot home run and you're going to excite the home crowd. That's just the nature of baseball. And that one's chopped in between first and second base for another hit for the Red Devils. Good piece of hitting by left-handed hitter Ben Reed. And one thing I've noticed, Shane, the lefties in the lineup for East Jordan not only hit with good average, but also with power.
Yeah.
You know, we saw Russell do obviously what he did earlier in this inning. Reed, good piece of hitting there. But before all that, Ethan Thomas got the single to get on base. So we've seen 3 hits here for the Red Devils in this top of the 4th inning as they're seeing Bryce Johnson for the second time today. As a quick snap throw down to first base makes the runner just kind of.
We got a pinch runner in.
Yeah, I can't make out the number. I believe that is. Well, I can't see the number.
Oh, that is Cicero there.
Okay, I couldn't see the number because it's got so dirty after he just dove back in. That brings the count to 1-1. On Eli Burns for the Red Devils. There's a well-placed bunt right in front of Johnson. He'll range over field and flip to first for the second out. So Burns does his job for the Red Devils and advances the runner. And that'll bring up number 18, Ryder Malpas for the Red Devils with 2 outs down in the bottom of the 4th. Cesaro is the runner on second base. Red Devils getting their runs off of a 2-run home run by Corbin Russell. And that one's kind of hit off the end of the bat, nubbed foul down the first base line for strike 1.
Malpas on the 0-1. Cicero looking for that big lead.
Yeah.
Comes back a little bit as he made it almost all the way halfway to third. Troy Nickel with a cannon of an arm himself. The 0-2 comes 1-2. Johnson finding his rhythm a little bit more here once again.
The 1-2 pitch is swung on and missed. And the Red Devils are out in the bottom of the 4th inning, but not before Corbin Russell puts them up 2-0 with a 2-run home run to help his cause as he'll head back out to the mound in the top of the 5th.
Johnson able to bounce back a little bit there, get his 8th strikeout, gets back into the right frame of mind after that 2-run blast and a couple other base hits along the way.
Well, that just kind of shows you what one swing of the bat can do, as both pitchers now through 4 innings have used exactly the same amount of pitches, 60 for each, Russell and Johnson. And I would imagine that the way that both these pitchers have been looking, that they'll probably stay out there throughout the duration of this 6-inning game, as long as we don't go to extra innings.
Yeah, I would have to agree. We'll see how this 5th inning goes. I mean, 60 is a fairly high tally, and they've certainly been adding on more and more pitches, respectively, comparative to the 1st and 2nd innings. So they're obviously getting worn out here after 60 through 4. We'll see how it goes, but I'd imagine they'd be able to stay on without too much trouble.
And just want to give another shout-out to Corbin Russell. He'll receive a free maple creamy from the Maple Tree Ice Cream Shop downtown East Jordan for hitting that home run, the 2-run blast in the bottom of the 4th inning. But I wouldn't imagine that that'll be the only home run we see this afternoon, Shane. As that first pitch to Owen Waha just missed a little bit low and inside for ball 1. 1-0 pitch misses outside and away for ball 2. That home run kind of just felt like it woke everybody up here. It kind of felt like we were just asleep watching a pitcher's duel. And then Ethan Thomas for the Red Devils got the inning started with a single up the middle. And Corbin Russell on the 3-2 count got his pitch and didn't miss it. The 2-1 pitch sails high and outside for ball 3. Hitters due up for the Raiders in the top of the 5th will be Waha Lemerand, followed by Johnson, as the 3-1 pitch is right in there for strike 2. Payoff pitch to Waha is fouled out of play. Waha sends that one, man, sliced foul. That thing
would have made it 3/4 of the way to the fence had it gone straight forward.
Yeah, and it maybe cleared the backstop of the fence by about 2 feet.
Yeah.
The full count pitch to Waha is inside, ball 4. So he'll take his bases. He draws a walk for a leadoff walk, sending Hunter Lemerand, the sophomore first baseman for the Raiders, up to the plate with 1 on, no outs in the top of the 5th inning for the Raiders. Raiders looking to get a couple runs back after they gave up 2 in the bottom of the 4th. Waha with an aggressive lead on first base. First pitch to Lemerand is in there for a called strike.
Hunter Lemerand playing a little bit with his time on first base. You could tell Ben Reed was locked and loaded to send a missile right down there to first. But Corbin Russell, he'll take it this time.
Well, one of the advantages of being a left-handed hitter, Shane, and for our listening and viewing audience, is that you can monitor that runner on first base relatively easier than you can if you're a right-handed pitcher. You don't really have to take your eye off of the batter, the catcher. A lot of time pitching is seeing your target in the catcher's glove, throwing it, hitting the target. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Lemerand.
You can tell he regretted that one.
Yeah, a diving attempt at the bunt, and he finds himself down in the count, no balls, 2 strikes. It looked like he might have tweaked that right ankle a little bit as he's trying to shake that one off. He's working it out, doing the hokey pokey, and trying to get back into the batter's box, facing a no balls, 2 strike deficit against. And here's the 0-2 pitch to Lemerand. That looked like it hit his foot, but I think it might have just missed his foot as it bounced and got past the catcher. So it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Waha able to take second base on the wild pitch. So Lemerand now in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes with an opportunity base hit, more than likely scores a run. That one's fouled off just over the away team dugout. Beautiful baseball complex here in East Jordan, Shane. I mean, the sun as it sets just outside of the view down the third base line. And excellent day for baseball.
I'd have to say this is much more of a player's park than Charlevoix, where you're facing right in the setting sun if you're anywhere on the field. And, yeah, slight breeze here. Temperatures hovering right around 75. Just beautiful for baseball. You couldn't ask for it better. Beautiful American baseball day.
So after being down no balls, 2 strikes, Lemerand has worked the count even. The 2-2 pitch bounces. And the count goes full now. Corbin Russell, the left-handed pitcher on the mound for the Red Devils, working against the first baseman for the Raiders. That's Hunter Lemerand, standing in the batter's box with no outs, full count. Waha on second base. Here's the payoff pitch. Ball 4. missed just a little high as Lemarand is on. The Raiders have 2 runners on via the walk in this inning. One of the things I'm pretty impressed with by Ben Reed, the catcher for the Red Devils, is he's always able to instruct his infielders and outfielders where the play is, where to get the lead runner, etc. That's very important for a catcher to be able to facilitate in terms of where the outfielders should go, if there's a play to be made at the plate, etc. As Bryce Johnson squared the bunt and popped that one back over the screen foul. But Shane, that's just one of the things that you learn after playing a lot of baseball, is you need to be able to communicate to those infielders, outfielders, where they need to go, so that way their head is always in the game. Bryce Johnson puts down a bunt right to pitcher Corbin Russell. He'll fire over to first base, and Johnson is out, but he does his job in advancing both runners over to second and third base as Johnson sacrifices to move the runners ahead. So Raiders now with runners on second and third with 1 out.
In terms of bunting, you couldn't ask for a much better effort there by Johnson. And just unfortunately, Corbin Russell for the Raiders was a little bit too fast as we have another one. This one will be much easier for him to gather up.
Raiders,
but it does get a man home.
Raiders execute the suicide squeeze. Good bat handling by Jack Drema. And Owen Waha came around to score for the Raiders to get their first run of the inning. Also advancing to third base was Hunter Lemarand on that bunt by Jack Drema. So Red Devils able to get 1 run back on the RBI bunt from Drema. 2 outs now down in the top of the inning as Emmett Bergman looks at strike 1 from Russell. This will be a big time at bat if Bergman's able to deliver this 2-out hit. And as we anticipated, Shane, this game being played within 1-run margin, or 2-run margin, I should say, was the largest margin of lead of for the Red Devils.
Couldn't have said it better, Charles.
Bergman swinging on the 2-1 pitch. Counts even at 2 balls, 2 strikes. After walking the first 2 leadoff hitters now, Russell and the Red Devils with an opportunity to get out of this inning, only allowing 1 run. Here's the even count pitch to Bergman, is hit to the shortstop. Ranging over is Carey, firing over to first base. What a missile. Wow. Carey caught that one and kind of an in-between hop, reared back and let it fly, man. That was a great play made. Put out goes 6-3, and the Raiders are out in the top of the 5th inning. Johnson goes back on the bump for the Raiders in the bottom of the 5th. Red Devils with an opportunity to try to stretch this lead out again. Shane, that was kind of the first ball we've seen hit moderately to deep in the hole at shortstop. Carey just kind of, I don't want to say nonchalantly went over there, but got over there in time. Knew he had time due to the strength of his arm, and a well-placed throw to first base to Brendan Ennis, and the Red Devils got the hitter and runner in Bergman. And Bergman isn't a slow base runner by any means.
No, it was nothing other than a confident play made by a very seasoned baseball player, which this team of East Jordan and also Charlevoix are nothing but full of. And we've seen that so far with only a 2-1 game through 4.5 innings. Pitchers battle. I mean, Bryce Johnson more than likely to come right up towards Corbin Russell's tally of 83 pitches so far. They were neck and neck here in the beginning of the 4th. It's just been one heck of a game. I mean, Johnson with 8 strikeouts so far, and Russell with 6, so they're both having a phenomenal game. Only a couple hits apiece against each other. Just obviously Bryce Johnson there with the home run against him earlier on in the 4th. As we've got the 1-1 pitch count here on Devin Olstrom. Make that 1-2.
Well, you know that there's definitely some heat being thrown when you can see the dust pop out of the catcher's glove. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Olstrom from Johnson. Curveball on the inside part of the plate, front door to him for the strikeout. And Shane, what's the official tally now up to for Bryce Johnson?
That'll be 9 strikeouts for Johnson. You can tell he's still got plenty of life left in him after, would that be 64 pitches so far in the game? As he sends that one right down the center.
You could say the only mistake Johnson has made all afternoon was the full count pitch to Corbin Russell. Other than that, he's been pretty much perfect. As that one is fouled back right out of play, right into your living room as it was right in front of our camera mount.
In fact, I think I heard somebody's glass vase breaking.
Yikes. No balls, 2 strikes to count now on it's Connor Boyer, the hitter for the Red Devils. That will look out. Good reflexes by head coach Nickel there. I mean, that was a very nonchalant just kind of head duck. But
you can tell he's seen a few balls coming his way before.
But that thing was coming high and tight, man.
Yeah.
So here's the no balls, 2 strike pitch. Curveball got him looking. Boyer had to duck out of the way of that one, and as soon as he ducked, it dropped in for a strike. That's the 10th strikeout, and the leadoff hitter now up for the Red Devils, and Dawson Carey. Two outs down in the bottom of the 5th. That curveball missed just a little bit high. As you can tell, like, you know, the top 6 hitters in the Red Devil hitting order, Shane, have a lot of confidence now seeing Bryce Johnson for the 3rd time around in the lineup. The 2nd time around, they had seen what he was going to be featuring, and this time, the 3rd time around, you know, seeing the different pitches that Johnson has been featuring, they just seem much more comfortable in the batter's box. 1-2 pitch from Johnson to Carey. Curveball swung on and missed. Johnson gets his 3rd strikeout of the inning, strikes out the side in consecutive 1-2-3 fashion. Down go the Red Devils, and last at bats in the top of the 6th inning coming up for the Raiders.
What a rally by Johnson. Previous inning had a home run, multiple base hits, only 1 strikeout, comes up, throws 3 strikeouts now, and leaving Corbin Russell here to preserve the 1-run lead by East Jordan, which he's obviously once again had a phenomenal game himself. At least 6 strikeouts, only allowed a few base hits. Other than that, perfect game by him.
Well, the 1 run that the Raiders got in the last inning, there was 2 leadoff. It was 2 walks and then 2 sacrifice bunts to push those runners around and to get the first run of the game for the Raiders. So the Raiders are still looking for that first hard hit ball. The Red Devils didn't really get one until they got it from Ethan Thomas. Ethan Thomas led off with that single up the middle, and then Russell obviously with the missile to straightaway center field with the home run. But other than that, really only 2 hard hit balls all game. And will that trend continue in the 6th inning? We'll find out. Last at bats of the game for the Raiders here in today's doubleheader versus the East Jordan Red Devils. 6th inning at bats brought to you by the Lemner and Agency Insurance Group and Farm Bureau Insurance of Charlevoix.
I'd be willing to hazard a guess that now that the Raiders, you know, they had, like we said, a couple of bunts and a base hit last inning, I'd be willing to bet that they get a couple of hits now in this inning. They've gotten some contact with the bat, raised their confidence now that they have a run on the board. I think we have a little bit left to see from them yet.
It's the top of the lineup due up for the Raiders. That one's hit down in the hole to Carey, and it hit off the heel of his glove. And Patrick Sterrett's going to be the tying run as he's safely aboard on first base. As I mentioned earlier, just before that one was hit, top of the lineup due up for the Raiders in the 6th inning. Starrett on board at first, Troy Nickel, and then A.J. Spiegel for the Raiders. The bunt placed down the third base line by Nickel. He will charge and be thrown out at first base. Nice play made by Connor Boyer, third baseman for the Red Devils, but Nickel does his job in advancing Patrick Starrett over to second base, leaving it up to A.J. Spiegel, the number 3 hitter for the Raiders. There's a strike right down the middle from Russell. Lefty on lefty matchup here once again. Russell now opting to work from the stretch as that one misses low. And off-speed pitch missed way high.
Patrick Starrett was one heel twitch away from sending it to third base.
Yeah, and if you're a pitcher, if you're going to miss high and on an off-speed pitch, 1-1 counts the one to do it.
Yeah.
Patrick Starrett wasn't on the move there for the Raiders, as that one is a fastball fouled high out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes now the count on Spiegel, as Patrick Starrett now with a hefty 10-foot leadoff on second base. 2-2 pitch bounced in the dirt. Count goes full, 3 balls, 2 strikes. A little bit of tension brewing here, Shane. We're in the top of the 6th, last at bat for the Raiders, and man on second with 1 out, full count pitch.
There's now a continuous murmur amongst the crowd here.
And A.J. Spiegel draws the walk.
Okay, we've seen Ryan Pearl knock some big hits so far this season. This would be the moment for him to shine. If if the Raiders have a chance to get a lead in the game, this would be it here, as East Jordan and Corbin Russell trying to keep their lead alive here midway through the 6th.
That's right. Runner on first base is A.J. Spiegel. Runner on second for the Raiders is Patrick Starrett. As you mentioned, the aforementioned Ryan Pearl digging into the right-handed batter's box with a golden opportunity to put the Raiders ahead here with 1 swing of the bat. That one's hit, popped up in the air, shallow center field. Coming over and making the play is the second baseman. As he retires Pearl, the Raiders are now down to their last out. It'll be Owen Waha. Pretty routine play made by the second baseman for the Red Devils. That is, let's get a number here, Shane, so we can give some credit where credit is due.
Is that number?
It was Devin Olstrom.
Okay.
Devin Olstrom, the second baseman, making the put out. Once again, we're in the top of the 6th inning. Last out for the Raider rally attempt. Raiders got 1 run back in the 5th inning after the Red Devils got 2 runs in the bottom of the 4th. 1-0 pitch to Waha, bounces, skips in.
Credit to Ben Reed here for keeping everything in front of him.
You want to talk about playing a really, really nice game.
Yeah.
Reed has 2 runners caught stealing on 2 attempts and has blocked a lot of pitches in the dirt. As Waha chops this one to third base in the hole. Patrick Starrett's going to come around to score from second base. A huge hit from Owen Waha, and on the throw home, the runner able to advance to third base. A.J. Spiegel on third. Owen Waha advances to second on the huge RBI single. And we're tied at 2 in the top of the 6th. Wow, Shane, what a game.
This just got so much more interesting. I tell you what. Now East Jordan
Well,
obviously
say it with a
has
little
the
enthusiasm, Shane.
Oh, I thought that was pretty enthusiastic. I don't know about you, Charles. So I've got a spider here going across my notepad.
The spider's interested.
Yeah, I guess so. Now he's on my leg.
was a 2-out RBI single by Owen Waha. Waha advanced to second on the wild throw home, which allowed him to take second base and allowed A.J. Spiegel to move over to third another 90 feet. It's Hunter Lemerand up with a 1-1 count now. Opportunity to score 2 runs with a single as Lemerand swings and misses on the fastball right down the middle from Russell. So the RBI to Waha on the single. And it's a 1-2 pitch to Lemerand in the dirt. Off-speed pitch bounce. Once again, Reed doing an excellent job of blocking those pitches, Shane.
He is the number one reason why the Raiders have not scored more runs, because he's kept everything in front of him, just as we've seen earlier on in the game. Those 2 caught runners at second, as that one ticks away, heads right for the crowd.
So Lemerand now working against a 2-2 count against Corbin Russell in the Red Devils. Raiders with a 2-out 6th inning rally that plated the tying run as Lemerand fouls that one back out of play.
Off the power lines. Boy, you don't see power lines come into play too much in baseball.
You know, the parking here in East Jordan really close to the baseball diamond. Everybody's kind of holding their breath when a ball is hit out of play. As Lemerand swings and misses on the 2-2 fastball. Raiders are out, but not before they tie this one even at 2. The Red Devils come to the plate in the bottom of the 6th with an opportunity to walk it off for a Lake Michigan Conference victory in Game 1 of today's rivalry doubleheader. Today's game brought to you by the Lemerand Agency Insurance, Bergman Marine, Culver's of Charlevoix, also the Charlevoix Agency Insurance, and also the Maple Tree Ice Cream Store in East Jordan. Want to give a shout out to Corbin Russell. He'll be receiving a free gift card for a free Maple Creamy at the Maple Tree downtown East Jordan for that home run, which came courtesy of a 3-2 count in the bottom of the 4th inning with a runner on first base. It was a no doubt about her off the bat of the lefty Russell, and he put that one over the fence and straight away center field. So he'll be receiving a gift card for a free Maple Creamy ice cream at the Maple Tree downtown East Jordan. So, Shane, we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Bryce Johnson still on the mound for the Raiders. He's really only made one bad pitch so far, which was that full count pitch that he left out over the plate for Russell to hit out of here. But so far for Johnson, 10 strikeouts, 11 strikeouts. Thank you for the correction. 11 strikeouts through a potential of 15 outs registered so far for the Raiders. So, he's accounted for over 70% of all the Raiders out so far in the first game of today's doubleheader. So, doing a magnificent job on the mound and controlling the feel and pace of this game as he fires yet another fastball in there for a first pitch, strike 1.
He's got one of the most crisp throws I've seen, not just in high school, but college and MLB, for being at 74 pitches now.
Yeah, the front door breaking ball got strike 2. This one's hitting the air to left field. Coming over is Jack Dreama, sun at his back, and he makes the put out 1 up, 1 down for the Red Devils in the bottom of the 6th. Shane, we mentioned it earlier, but here at the park, the sun is going down just behind left field. So those fielders aren't fighting the sun on fly balls hitting their direction. That's really huge, especially when you got to make those clutch outs in the 6th inning.
It certainly is. Normally at home in Charlevoix, we see at least 2 to 3 errors per game based off of missed catches that outfielders just couldn't pick up due to the sun. You don't have that here, and that's really beneficial to East Jordan.
As that one's hit to straightaway center, Patrick Sterrick coming over to his right to make the put out. 2 up, 2 down. That'll leave it up to Brendan Ennis, the first baseman for the Red Devils, as that was Russell who flied out to stare in center field. So Johnson working against the heart of the Red Devil order here in order to extend this game to extra innings potentially. Here's the first pitch to Ennis, is chopped right to A.J. Spiegel, or actually Owen Waha, and he throws and pulled Lemerand off the base. So Ennis is safe at first base on the throwing error. So with 1 on, 2 outs down in the bottom of the 6th inning, the Red Devils extend their chances as Ben Reed steps into the box for the Red Devils. Curveball by Johnson misses outside, ball 1. It's important for Johnson to put that error behind him. You know, it was a relatively routine play that he probably anticipated getting out of the inning with, but now he's just got to work out against one more hitter as he misses again outside and away for ball 2. Pitching is a very challenging activity mentally, Shane, as Reed swings and misses on the 2-0 fastball, but now you got to be able to bounce back on things that are out of your control.
So far, Johnson's done that. I mean,
Yeah.
3 strikeouts after getting a home run scored against him 2 innings ago, 3 strikeouts in the last inning.
Yep.
So far, gotten 2 strikeouts in this one. The only problem with this inning so far is an error on second. Otherwise, he's had a clean game as he's got 1 strike and 3 balls. We haven't seen that count from him in about an inning and a half.
3-1 pitch to Reed is hit into left field. A slicing single coming over his Dreama to field. He'll throw it back into Waha, but the Red Devils have a runner on first and second now after Reed with the 3-1 count slices one into left field for the base hit. Runners on first and second. 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning. Red Devils with a last inning rally, if you will. Ennis reached on the throwing error by Waha, and then Reed reached on the seeing eye single into left field. That'll bring up number 9, Eli Burns, for the Red Devils, as he's got an opportunity to walk it off with 1 swing of the bat. The first pitch to Burns is swung on, fouled off the home plate umpire for strike 1. Man, the home plate umpire, he's going to...
You'll be earning his rest tonight. That's
you know what?
for sure.
We should talk to our sponsor, see if we can get the home plate umpire free maple creamy as well, because not only umpiring the whole game by himself, but it's pretty hot today as well, as that one misses high for ball 1. The 1-1 pitch. Eli Burns waits on the delivery from Bryce Johnson. Fouled off right at home plate, strike 2. This is a lonely and kind of anxious feeling as a hitter, Shane.
Yeah.
When you got runners on first and second, you're down in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes, and you know that like a base hit wins the game.
Yeah,
it's an anxious feeling.
For myself, who doesn't have quite, I don't think, the strength of some of these guys mentally, I know how hard this is to be in this type of position. And there were a few times I choked, I will admit. I choked leaving those guys out there. There are other times I was successful, but my goodness, what a stressful moment for these guys.
Tough. As Burns works the count to 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch from Johnson. Fastball, high. And if you want to build some more tension, we've got a full count pitch.
Man.
Just moments away here. Runners will be on the move here based on the delivery from Johnson. Full count pitch to Burns. Inside, ball 4.
Bases loaded now with Malpas.
Stepping into the batter's box here, So Red Devils got their runners, and a throwing error was how Ennis reached. Reed reached on a little slap shot single into left field, and Burns reached on a walk, which will leave it up to Ryder Malpas in the bottom of the 6th inning for the Red Devils. Head skipper for the Raiders going out to talk to all of his infielders about where they want to go. They can get a force out anywhere in this situation. All they got to do is field it and step on a base in any direction, and they will get an out as Johnson delivers a fastball for strike 1. Malpas had a good swing at that one. just couldn't quite catch up to the velocity. The 0-1 from Johnson. Fastball in there for called strike 2.
Talk about bad situations. 0-2 count here. Bases loaded.
Yeah. Malpas, the hitter at the plate for the Red Devils. Bases loaded. No balls, 2 strikes. The delivery from Bryce Johnson swung on and missed. And we will go to extra innings.
Wow.
Free baseball here in East Jordan High School between Red Devils and Raiders. Top of the 7th due up. And we'll see so it'll be overtime rules, which we'll explain those to everyone as we see them, because each conference can have different overtime rules and how they want to do it, whether or not it's a conference game like this is, or whether or not it's a tournament game.
Okay.
So a lot of baseball teams you see have ties on their record. If you're looking on Max Preps or any other record indicating site, a lot of those ties are indicative because one team wasn't able to win after 1 inning of extra innings or overtime. So for those tournament purposes, it's a good way of speeding up the tournaments. However, this being a Lake Michigan Conference game, they don't begin overtime as a tournament would. So tournament overtime, you would have a runner start on second base with 1 out. However, given that this is a conference game, we will begin just as a regular inning would. Pitching change, though, for the Red Devils. Dawson Carey has taken the bump and will pitch the top of the 7th inning. Due up for the Raiders is Bryce Johnson, Jack Drema, and Emmett Bergman.
Bryce Johnson goes from a 92 pitch count and a rallying 12th strikeout in the previous inning to now going up to bat for the Raiders, potentially being the one to wrangle this game away, depending on how strong he can hit the ball here. This will be an interesting situation.
Well, you know, Shane, coming into this game, we thought that it was going to be an excellent game, and we've got just what we hoped for between these two conference opponents. Obviously, a well-deserved ranking for both teams in the top 10 of their respected divisions or classes. We'll use classes and divisions synonymously.
Okay.
So Bryce Johnson, due up for the Raiders in the top half of the 7th inning. Here we go. First pitch from Carey is high as Johnson pulls back the bunt attempt for ball 1. Well, Shane, you having fun yet?
Oh, yeah.
You having fun listening to me talk?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's tons of fun, Charles. Hey, you know a lot more than I do, so.
As Johnson pulls back the bat.
The self-proclaimed baseball nerd.
And we are starting with a runner on second. Okay, I was right. I was right. A runner started on second base. No outs in the top of the 7th.
Okay.
Almost like I thought it should start. So 2-0 the count on Bryce Johnson. It's Hunter Lemerand, who's now on third base after.
Can we just continue to give Ben Reed more props for catching that sky-high pitch
You want to talk about a jump squat exercise. He came out of a squat position, max vertical, and caught it. As that's ball 4 on Bryce Johnson. And a large chorus of applause.
No, you're okay. Got Bryce Johnson's family all here around us. Plenty of cheers and applause.
Yeah, they just bought out the concession stand.
Yeah. Hey, well deserved. He's had a heck of a game as that little
Drema puts down the bunt, and Lemerand comes around to score. Throwing error into right field, and Johnson's going to advance into third base. He's safe. Advancing to second is Drema, and he is in there.
East Jordan
standing up,
looking on that play.
So let's recap what we just had.
Madness.
Jack Dreba put down a bunt perfectly.
Yeah.
Just a couple inches inside of the chalk going down the first base line. It allowed Hunter Lemoran to score coming home from third, and then a throwing error down to first, escaped into right field, allowing Drema to advance to second and allowing Johnson to advance to third. No outs still in the top of the 7th inning. Emmett Bergman places a bunt, and it's caught by Carey. Carey will go to third base and get the twin killing of 2 Raiders.
What an inning this has been so far, Charles.
So 2 outs now, thanks to the double play. An excellent play made by Carey, coming to catch the pop-up bunt. Johnson was coming home on an attempt to suicide squeeze, and he didn't see Carey catch it. Carey just fired over to third base for the double play.
That was more like a loft. I mean, he had all the time in the world. Plenty of confidence there.
As Patrick Sterrett looks at a strike 1 fastball. Raiders now up 3-2. As that one missed on the inside half of the plate, ball 1. One pitch misses high and away to Sterrett. The 2-1 misses high again. The count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike against the Raider leadoff hitter.
Wonder how many times Ben Reed practices those squat jumps.
He's got some serious agility behind the plate, I'll say that. And very quick reflexes.
Yeah.
As the count goes full now to Patrick Sterrett. 2 outs down in the top of the 7th. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Hit in the air to center field. Coming in to make the play for the Red Devils, and the Raiders are out in the top of the 7th, but not before they get a run. And it's 3-2 as we go to the bottom of the 7th from East Jordan High School. Raiders on top of the Red Devils 3, Red Devils 2.
Got to give credit where credit's due there. 0 for the Red Devils. Devin Olstrom was the one who made that catch in about mid-center field, we'll call it.
Yeah, it was a moderately hit ball.
Yeah.
You know, nothing, I don't want to say it jumped off the bat of Sterrett like we saw from Russell's home run. But it was just kind of moderately hit fly ball, and a nice play made in center field by Olstrom to retire the Raiders. And it looks like we're going to get another inning from Bryce Johnson. So Johnson threw 6 innings, 2 earned runs, and strikeouts, Shane?
12
strikeouts.
on 92 pitches.
On 92 pitches, 12 strikeouts. Opportunity to shut the door on the Red Devils in the bottom of the 7th inning. Free baseball this afternoon in Game 1 of today's doubleheader. Can't complain about that.
No, I didn't think we'd be getting to a 7th inning stretch in high school baseball, but here we are. Should have the whole crowd start singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
Worth the price of admission today.
Yeah.
And this would be the 7th inning stretch right now, Shane. You're right. But I think we've amended it for high school baseball terms to the 5th inning stretch.
Okay.
At least I did last game.
Sure.
I'd like to think I preserve the right to do that.
I'll give it to you.
Well, thanks for your generosity.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it.
Yeah.
Due up for the Red Devils in the bottom of the 7th will be
Hunter Cicero
will be Cicero, followed by, let's see here, trying to get a number on the hitter in the on-deck circle. It's Connor Boyer for the Red Devils in the on-deck circle. Cicero working against Bryce Johnson on the bump for the Red Devils. The Red Devils will start with a runner on second base, just like the Red Devils did. The runner on second base for the Red Devils is Ryder Malpus, as he is positioned on second as we start. And Cicero lays down a bunt to Bryce Johnson. That is going to be a tough play at first. And a nice throw
Beautiful
from
underhanded chuck there from Johnson.
Johnson gloved it, and from a sidearm delivery, threw it over to first to get the aforementioned Cicero, but doing a nice job of advancing the runner over to third base. 1 out now for the Red Devils in the bottom of the 7th. Connor Boyer with an opportunity to bring home the runner for the Red Devils as he fouls the first pitch high and away out of play. A 1 pitch is hit high in the air on the infield. Owen Waha ranging over, calling off all of his teammates, makes the play. And Waha makes the out. 2 outs down in the bottom of the 7th. Red Devils down to their last out. It is Dawson Carey, the leadoff hitter for the Red Devils. Very fast, good bat control. Believe their highest batting average hitter as well, Shane, courtesy of Game Changer statistics. That one misses high and away on the first pitch to Carey.
You got to love these moments in the game. 2 outs,
This is
man
what high
on
school
third.
sports are about.
Right, and the crowd goes completely silent. Right there as the pitch is thrown.
And that one just missed the strike zone, so the count is 2 balls, no strikes. Leadoff hitter for the Red Devils is Dawson Carey. Strike 1 on the inside third of the plate. Ryder Malpas, the runner on third base for the Red Devils. Carey at the plate. Johnson working from the stretch for the Raiders. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Fastball missed high. Ball kind of popped out of the glove of Troy Nickel, but he was able to track it down. The tension's coming back, Shane.
I've got like this ball in my stomach right now. This is one of the best baseball games in high school I've ever watched. As we're in the 7th, 1 man on, 2 men out. Pop fly behind the base.
Yeah,
that one hits the fence, and
you gotta love those balls that get hit right back to the fence and it shakes the camera. If you're watching at home, or if you're sitting on your couch, or heck, on a day like today, you might be sitting on your dock watching the game.
Yeah.
But when a ball hits the fence like that, it just wakes you up. As we now have a full count on Carey as he waits on Johnson's delivery. Strike 3 called on the outside part of the plate. It was on the outer third part of the plate, and that is the 13th strikeout of the afternoon for Johnson, and the Raiders get the victory in Game 1 of today's doubleheader. Shane, before we send it to a little bit of a break in between games, an excellently played game. You said it in the bottom half of the inning. Probably the best high school baseball game you've seen in a while.
Yeah.
All facets of the game were on display. We saw some excellent pitching, some timely hitting, also some timely fielding errors committed by both teams.
Yeah.
So every kind of fielding or different aspect of a baseball game was on display there in Game 1 of today's doubleheader, wouldn't you say?
I would have to say that indeed. I mean, everything other than maybe some tricky outfield play was shown here
hidden
today.
Ball trick, maybe something like that.
But other than that, I mean, we got to give credit to the 2 best players in today's game. Corbin Russell, who had the home run and was a great pitcher for the Red Devils.
9 strikeouts for Russell?
7 I have.
Okay.
And then you've got Bryce Johnson, who threw, nearly 100 pitches, 7 innings, 13 strikeouts, and we got to give credit, apologize for a third player, and that was our catcher today's game for the Red Devils.
Yeah. Ben Reed.
Ben Reed, yeah, thank you. Right there at the top of my list. I mean, spectacular game that he had as well.
Yeah, he had 2 runners caught stealing and made a ton of stops at home plate. I mean, a lot of balls that were just kind of bouncing in the dirt or well above his head that he was able to pop out of a squat quickly for and jump up and catch that were well above his head. So, Shane, I think that's a tremendous summary for the first game. In terms of the players that stood out.
Yeah.
Once again, free Maple Creamy at the Maple Tree Ice Cream Shop in downtown East Jordan will be given to Corbin Russell for hitting that 2-run home run in the bottom of the 4th inning. So congratulations to Corbin on the big fly into straightaway center field. Game 1 in the books. Raiders take it 3-2, courtesy of extra innings from East Jordan High School. We'll head to Game 2 in roughly 15 to 20 minutes as the teams take in some nourishment, some fluids, and get things set for what should be another exciting game of baseball. You don't want to go anywhere, folks. We're not going anywhere. Sun's still, plenty of sunlight left in the day today. And we're going to take a brief pause in the action. And we're going to sign off momentarily. And we'll be back for the second game of today's doubleheader in right around 15 to 20 minutes. This is high school baseball on Next Level Broadcasting.
And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to our second game here in East Jordan. I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, what a first game that was. Came right down. We went to extra innings into the 7th, and the Raiders came away 3-2 as Patrick Sterrett comes out swinging, goes to second base, and he'll be out about 4 steps ahead of time there. 1 man up, 1 man down for the new pitcher. That is number 7, Dawson Carey, on the mound for the Red Devils in the second game of the series. As we described earlier on this evening, this game will decide second place in the conference overall if the Raiders win both games. Otherwise, it'll be a draw between the two teams, 1 win apiece, and that'll leave them, I believe, in their current respective positions. Charles?
That is correct.
Okay. Second for Charlevoix, third for East Jordan. And that was caught mid-center field.
Trying to see who made the play out there in center field for the Red Devils. I believe
that's judging by his stature, I believe that's Cicero there.
Okay. Nice play made by the center fielder then.
Yeah. Early off in the game, got a first strike called against A.J. Spiegel. 1 ball, 1 strike now. 2 men out already. Another quick start to the game, just like we saw earlier on in the beginning of the evening. And that'll dribble right past second, straight up to Cicero, and A.J. Spiegel gets to first.
Nice piece of hitting for Spiegel there to take that one right back up the middle. Just quick, short swing.
Yeah.
Didn't try to do too much with it. Took the pitch that he was given by Carey. And oftentimes a hitter that wants to do too much with that will turn it over. Just kind of a turnover roller to the shortstop. But Spiegel doing a good job staying through the ball, through the strike zone, through the contact, and pushing it into center field.
High and away on the first pitch leaves Pearl with a 1-0 count. Make that 1-1. And another picked off runner by Ben Reed at second.
An absolute seed thrown from Ben Reed down to second to get Spiegel trying to steal, and that's the first caught stealing of the game for this one. But Reed had 2 runners that he threw out in the first game of today's doubleheader, so I think he's coming out making a point that thou shall not steal.
I guess not. Now, I've heard of missile, I've heard of rocket, but what I guess I haven't heard of seed. Yeah, let's explain that one a little bit for the home audience and myself.
We know a seed is synonymous with a missile and a rocket in terms of baseball analogies.
Okay.
So they can be used simultaneously, one in replace of the other.
Okay.
So rocket, missile, seed, you can use them all interchangeably.
Okay. Got it, I think.
Well, Reed, he's got 3 caught stealings now, so we can say that each one of them was a rocket, a missile, and a seed with his throws down to second base.
Yeah. He's a good seed spitter.
Okay.
Spitting the ball.
Yeah.
I don't know. I tried too hard on that. But anyway, a little bit more of a recap from our earlier game. Bryce Johnson threw 13 strikeouts across all 7 innings, somewhere north of 100 pitches. He had a incredible night. There were only a couple of base hits and 1 home run off of him, 2-run homer, that is. The only points East Jordan was able to score, and that was in the 4th inning. Otherwise, Raiders were scoring 1 run apiece through the 5th through 7th innings, able to get them in the lead and eventually win it. But Corbin Russell had a great game himself, 7 strikeouts. And the aforementioned Ben Reed with 2 runners picked off of second base earlier on in the first game, and we see that repeated here so far. So with that, in just a moment, we'll see our first man up to bat. That'll be number 7, Dawson Carey. He was the relief pitcher in the first game, and obviously the pitcher now in the second game. Kept the Raiders from scoring a 4th run deep in the 7th inning. And so far he's doing an excellent job keeping Raiders from getting on base in this game. Pitcher for tonight's game for the Raiders is number 11, Owen Waha, the sophomore. And that one will pop high right above our heads. Falls just inside the fence, thank goodness. And Waha not able to make the catch. That one might get to his head a little bit. He had some pretty spirited chants here from the East Jordan home crowd. It's normally left up to Ryan Pearl to take care of, but Waha tried to get it, not quite able to wrangle it into his glove. So with that, the 0-1 pitch count in favor of Waha going up against Carey. That one delivered slow and high. The 1-1. That one knocked deep to center. Over the wall, and that'll be home run number 2 of the night for the Red Devils. Nearly hits the Toyota Tacoma parked out there. Charles, you've got a sponsorship deal for that one, don't you?
We certainly do, as number 7, Dawson Carey, rounds third base for the Red Devils as he's greeted at home plate by his teammates after putting one out to straightaway center field. Dawson will be joining his friend and former teammate Corbin Russell with a free Maple Creamy to the Maple Tree Ice Cream Parlor in East Jordan, courtesy of their home run sponsorship here on Next Level Broadcasting, as that one jumped off the bat of Carey for home run and the first run of today's second game. Still no outs in the bottom of the first inning.
Owen Waha with a high pitch there. Caught number 33, Ethan Thomas, swinging. Not quite the start of the game that Waha wanted. He had a drop catch earlier off a foul tip from Dawson Carey, and then that resulted in the first home run of the game, a single home run. 1-0 East Jordan goes as we've got a 1-1 pitch count now for Ethan Thomas. Owen Waha throws that one right down the middle. On the 1-2 pitch. That one chopped up over his head, caught by the second baseman and thrown to number 16, Hunter Lemran, covering first in no time. First out for the Red Devils, commanding that 1-0 lead so far. As that catch by second base was made by Troy Nickel for the Raiders. Here we go, number 28, Corbin Russell, who had the 2-run homer earlier on in the first game. Swings and misses there. First strike.
He'll be heading to the Maple Tree sometime later on this week for a free Maple Creamy ice cream, courtesy of that home run.
He lets that one bite the dirt there. We've got a 1-1 pitch count. And that one knocked well into foul territory. A deep slicer, though, to deep left field by Corbin Russell. He's made plenty of contact with the ball so far. I'm sure we'll be seeing him collect a base or two, or who knows, all 4 of them at some point again this evening. Checks up on that one, 2-2 pitch count. Nobody on, 1 man out. Owen Waha dealing with a little bit of a bumpy start to the game, as that one goes right down the center, and he earns his first strikeout of the evening.
So 2 outs now down in the bottom of the first inning. Waha trying to rally after giving up that home run to Dawson Carey, the leadoff man for the Red Devils here in the bottom of the first inning.
Up to bat now is number 8, Brandon Innes. Pitch just a hair outside. Brennan made some contact earlier on in this game and was a very efficient first baseman as he goes swinging there, 1-1. That one low in the strike zone. Brings him to his second strike now, 1-2 in favor of Waha. Nobody on. 2 men out here as East Jordan still maintains their 1-run lead. That one popped off the bat. Well outside.
Yeah, I would say that was a defensive swing.
Yeah.
There for Ennis, as that pitch was a pitcher's pitch. Really all he could do to foul it away.
And swing and a miss. That'll give Waha his second strikeout. Coming back after a 1-run homer and a dropped foul catch attempt earlier on here in the first inning. Raiders come up down 1 run. Charles?
You know, it's just tough. Baseball is a very ironic game, and if you're if you just like watch for series of events, you know, you drop the foul ball at home plate, throw a couple more pitches, and then the same hitter in that same at bat, 1, maybe 2 pitches after that, hits a home run straight away center field. Baseball is just one of those games where it's a Murphy's Law kind of thing, where if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. If you don't take advantage of an opportunity to do something, then more than likely it's going to come back in an adverse manner in terms of, you know, how you'd like it to affect you. So far, the pitching for the Raiders has been really good for 95% of the time. You know, they've had 2 mistakes, leaving a couple fastballs, I believe both on full count pitches, correct?
Yes. Yeah, I just remembered. Yeah, Dawson Carey had a full count as well, same as Corbin Russell in the first game. That's right, Charles. Good point.
So those full count pitch counts, just making a couple errors, leaving the ball a little bit too much of the middle third of the plate, giving those Red Devil hitters an opportunity to hit it out to center field, as they've shown twice now in 1 in each game.
So Ryan Pearl lets that one go eye high. 1 ball, no strikes. The sophomore hitter, carbon copy of the first pitch, leaving him in favorable territory now with 2 balls to work with. Pitch from Carey, 3rd straight ball. And Ryan Pearl lets that one go by. He had plenty to work with there. 3-1 pitch count for him now. And he'll take his base after that one hits the dirt. Dawson Carey, you can tell, has plenty of speed. Maybe not quite the arsenal that we saw earlier from Corbin Russell, but no shabby pitcher whatsoever in Carey.
Certainly, and oftentimes how the ball moves through the air when thrown is different from a lefty to a righty. So Russell obviously being a left-handed pitcher, Carey throwing from the obviously right-handed. There's another good throw from Reed down to second, but it skipped in, and Pearl would have been thrown out if that one was able to have been fielded cleanly, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it was a timely throw, right on the money, maybe just about a foot short, as you can't really say that was a bad throw, as Waha looks at a strike 1. But I was saying, Shane, from when one pitcher in the first game is throwing left-handed, the next pitcher comes in to throw right-handed, it sometimes takes the opposing team a little bit of time to get adjusted and acclimated to the change in what the ball looks like coming out of the pitcher's hand, as that one is popped well out of play.
And that'll make contact with a nice Jeep back there, sending them the bill to East Jordan Athletic Department.
Well, if you're unable to save the receipts and send it to the athletic department, you can consult our friends at the Lumber and Agency Insurance for all those foul ball-related vehicle dents, as Waha chops this one foul down the 3rd base line.
Just good tie-in, Charles.
You're shamelessly plugging our sponsors this afternoon.
Dawson Carey facing a 1-2 pitch count here against Owen Waha. That one sails high and over his head. Ryan Pearl effortlessly takes 3rd base.
I believe that one just grazed the bottom half of our camera. So that one came right in your living room as our camera looks like it survived.
Yeah. Clear as ever. Thankfully, the fence is there. That one sails over the Raider dugout. 0-1 Waha still with a 2-2 count here, making
a battle.
Dawson Carey work for it a little bit. There we go. Yeah. As that one sails away, 3-2 count. Ryan Pearl on third. Position to score. On the full count. That one sails high, leaving Owen Waha to take his base as well.
Yeah, Waha kind of had to jump out of the way of that one. It tailed in, letter high, and he, just tilted away as he took his base after the walk. Worked that all the way back from a 1-2 count to draw the walk as well.
Hunter Lemoran now taking his place, getting another high ball, this time in his favor. 1 ball, no strikes, man on first, man on third. Nobody out so far for the Raiders. Little high bunt there. That'll pop up. The diving catch not able to be made, but the throw to first was successful. What an effort that was between pitcher Carey and third baseman number 5, Connor Boyer.
And that's one that Hunter Lemoran is probably going to kick himself on later on in this game, because even though that bunt was popped up in the air, he still should have been running hard down the first base line, because that had a lot of hang time, and if he would have taken out of the batter's box charging hard toward first base, he probably would have been safe, whereas he kind of watched it thinking it might go foul or it might be caught. So given how fierce of a competitor and how hard on himself he is, he'll probably want that opportunity back, but an opportunity for him to learn from it as well.
No doubt about it, as that leaves number 3, Bryce Johnson, our pitcher from last game. Over 100 pitches, 13 strikeouts in 7 complete innings, able to give the Raiders the 3-2 win. So far, he's got a 1-1 pitch count. Still have Ryan Pearl on third. Checks up there, 2-1 count in his favor. Make that 3-1 carry, working for it right at the moment.
Yeah, a little chin music there for Bryce Johnson. He had to quickly spin out of the way of that fastball.
And that'll be strike 2. Full count now. Got men on second and third. Raiders once again starting the game out in a deficit. Well, you can tell Bryce Johnson wasn't expecting that, as he worked himself around expecting to get hit. So that brings up Jack Jarima to try and clean things up here on the field.
Really good job of working the fastball there for Carey. He had been working high and away portions of the strike zone. He came back inside and got Johnson looking with a fastball on the inner third of the plate and just froze him. Oftentimes don't see that on a full count pitch. And a well-placed fastball for Carey. As you can kind of see now, he's starting to find his rhythm locating that fastball.
Well, Dreamer's got one apiece and the ball and straight count against him. Carey quick for the windup. That one goes high. Once again, the pop-up catch by Reed. One of the better catchers, I'd have to say, I've seen from the LMC in some time. Make that strike 2. 2-2 count here. 2 men on, 2 men out. 2s across the board, except the score 1-0. And that one sails high, full count. Pitch high and away. Bases are now loaded in the Raiders' favor.
Big opportunity here for Emmett Bergman, the number 9 hitter for the Raiders. Waiting on deck is senior Patrick Sterrett. Emmett is an affluent handler of the bat. I wouldn't be surprised if he opts to lay down a bunt here, even with 2 outs. We've seen him do that before in 2-out counts.
Certainly a strong suit. He's not exactly the biggest player on the team, but very smart with the bat. Another young player, Emmett Bergman, just a sophomore. This team has, I believe, 5. And that one sails high right by his nose. 2-1 is the count. 3-1 it goes. Ryan Pearl itching to try and get home.
So Bergman now ahead in the account. 3 balls, 1 strike, waits on it from Carey. And
that'll force Ryan Pearl home. So that's the easiest run the Raiders will have probably at all tonight. As Patrick Sterrett, top of the batter lineup we go, takes the base, looking to try and knock all his fellow players home. We've certainly seen him do it earlier on in the season, one of the biggest batters on the team. One of 2 seniors as he takes that one low.
actually, was it called strike 1?
Yep. Well, I should have clarified. Low strike there, low in the strike zone. And that one right waist high. 0-2 it goes for him.
That was a nice looking curveball on the 0-2 count. Carey had, I think Sterrett was a little bit off balance. He was trying to have a timeout rewarded from the home plate umpire, and I think he put his hand up signaling for timeout a little bit too late. And
yeah, you can tell that's not a pitch he normally misses. One slowing around like that, that's when he would typically it was ring out to the outfield.
Yeah, it was belt high curveball on an 0-2 count. Typically something like that, Patrick's at least able to foul off, and you could tell there that he was just a little bit off balance because he was anticipating getting a timeout rewarded. Sometimes you don't get it rewarded to you, so you got to be ready to fight for your life at the plate in those situations. So Raiders are
still down 1. Dawson Carey with 3 strikeouts now in 2
innings. The Raiders scored 1 in that inning on the walk.
Oh, yeah, I apologize. Yeah, the walk. They got a score. Yep.
So I believe it was so even though it was a walk, Emmett Bergman will be credited with RBI.
Okay.
It was Ryan Pearl who came around to score.
So after 1 full inning of play, Dawson Carey with 41 pitches for the Red Devils. 2 innings of play for him. So we'll see how Owen Waha's able to come into this one. He had a good first inning, 2 strikeouts. One of the Raiders' best pitchers, only a sophomore, so he's got plenty of time left on the team to prove himself and show what he has to offer. And a very talented Raiders squad that is currently 7th in Division III. East Jordan is 3rd Division IV in the state of Michigan. And the Raiders are just outside the top 50 in the state across all divisions. East Jordan right around 75th. Both teams very high performing.
Delivered in that first game of today's doubleheader. That was a very entertaining first game of the doubleheader. I would say that, anytime you get an extra innings opportunity in conference play, it always adds a little bit more attention to the moment, and we certainly got that.
One Waha on the first pitch. That one hits the dirt, gets past Pearl.
Yeah, quick change behind the plate in the second game of today's doubleheader. Pearl catching. Troy Nickel caught the first game.
And that one's knocked deep to center field. Able to make the catch by the warning track, though. Can't quite make out who that is out there, Charles.
Yeah, Patrick Sterrett got a good jump off that one when it was hit off the bat. So he was able to quickly track it down. Routine out-recorded for him. Textbook fashion by Sterrett quickly reacting and then slowing down once he got into position. That one's hit on the ground. Yep.
Blooper picked up, thrown to first, and plenty of time it goes. 2 men up, 2 men down.
It's a nice play made by A.J. Spiegel as he just took a couple of steps over to his left, scooped it. I want to say scooped it and then scored it, but scooped it and threw it. How about that?
It was a score to his mid, I suppose.
Sure.
Tell you what, I'll have to get some field glasses or something. That or you have bionic vision to be able to tell it's Patrick Sterrett out there in center field. Another little blooper past second. Sterrett's able to get it in time, but that all sends Cicero to first base.
That was a quick in and out swing, and another ball hit right back up the middle. Typically, you see on those balls hit back up the middle, just a real quick swing. You don't really have to provide much power from the bat in order to send the ball right back up the middle. And that is, I believe, Steven Anderson is going to chop that one to Troy Nickel at second, and the out is recorded. And the Red Devils are out in the top, or the bottom of the second inning. We go to the top of the third with the Raiders coming back to the plate. We got a tie game, 1-1, between Charlevoix and East Jordan in the second half of today's doubleheader, which will determine, largely determine, I should say, the conference champion.
Yeah.
We still have to see what is, to be determined by the Harbor Springs outcome later on today. But if either one of these two teams earns a sweep, it would largely put themselves or that team in the driver's seat to win the conference outright, which is a large accomplishment this year given the quality of teams in the upper tier of the Lake Michigan Conference for baseball this season.
Do you know who it is that Harbor Springs is playing tonight?
I believe Harbor Springs is playing Elk Rapids today.
Okay. Rare miss there at the catcher position by Ben Reed. He's glad that was in practice only. As the Carey-Reed duo gets ready to take things off here in the top of the third, each team has a run apiece. East Jordan garnered theirs in the bottom of the first. Charlevoix got theirs off a walk in the top of the second. Flawless throw down by Reed once again as Troy Nickel comes up to bat. Troy Nickel, a junior this year, been a staple of the Raider program all the way since Little League, working up through JV and now varsity. His dad, of course, the head cheese on the Raider team, as he nearly takes that one in the back, able to spin away just in time. Ball and no strikes.
Carey back on the mound for the Red Devils in the bottom half of the top half of this inning.
That one pops away, almost to foul territory, but picked up by the left fielder, sending Nickel right back home.
Back to the dugout.
Yeah.
As I was saying, a couple quick pitches for Dawson Carey here in the top of the third inning. He's used a total of 43 pitches now as he sends this one home, ball one against A.J. Spiegel, the number 3 hitter in the order for the Raiders in the second of today's doubleheader.
Another helmet high pitch by Carey here. 2-0 in favor of Spiegel. And he takes that one low as well, low and outside. 3-0.
Carey really trying to establish the boundaries of the strike zone with his pitches. And he earns a strike right there, but I think he might be slightly frustrated because some of the strike zone that he's perceived when he's throwing isn't the same as when he's been hitting, which can be frustrating as a pitcher in the high school and collegiate ranks, because typically pitchers in the major leagues, in the American League, they don't hit.
Yeah.
So you're not getting that perception of what the strike zone is from the plate. As that one's pulled down the first baseline by Spiegel. But, just to expand on that point, so people don't think I'm crazy here, but in high
We're
school,
all a little crazy.
when you're pitching and you think that the strike zone is one thing, but when you go hit and you feel like that strike zone is shifting or changing, it can be kind of frustrating.
So that one's drilled mid-center field by Spiegel. Picked up no problem by Cicero. That'll be 2 men out. Go ahead.
Good job once again by a center fielder getting a good read.
Thought you had a little more explanation on that there.
No, I've totally finished my thought on that.
Okay.
Shane.
Well, here we are, Ryan Pearl. That one about ankle high. 1 ball. So far, Raiders have not had much luck either with their bats, just like in the preceding game. Pitching duel once again here between the two teams as we go 1 ball and 1 strike. That one hits the dirt, bounces right in front of us here at the scorer's table, announcing table, whatever you'd like to call it. We've got a 2-1 count.
Shoot, if you wanted to, you could call it the breakfast table, Shane.
Or dinner table. I'm hungry for
you
some
go.
dinner right now, I tell you what. As that one goes into foul territory, 2-2. I don't know about you, Charles, but a Culver's Butterburger sounds real good right now.
I think that'd be hard to turn down, Shane.
That and get a nice, cool, refreshing concrete mixer. And that one bloops right back over to shortstop. Ryan Pearl with a good hustle, but taken out in plenty of time.
Yeah, that was a really nice throw. I believe it was Eli Burns making the put out as he went over to shortstop for the second game of today's doubleheader. And Burns making a good throw over to first base, getting Pearl and shutting the door on the Raiders in the top of the 3rd inning. Another, Shane, looks like we're in for another
low-scoring affair.
Low-scoring, but 1 run maybe. The first game, the maximum lead was 2 runs. Charlevoix came back to win by 1. I would be very surprised if we see a margin in terms of who is ahead by more than 2 runs.
I agree with that for the most part, other than East Jordan towards the end there. And Charlevoix could very easily do the exact same thing. Had a couple of uncharacteristic errors that almost led to, a much wider, 2, potentially 3-run lead by the Raiders there towards the end in the 6th and 7th inning. So it'll be interesting to see. Will it get that far? Probably not. But, hey, this is high school baseball. We have already had an extra inning, so this is already like the 4th inning in the 2nd game. So there's going to be some fatigue setting in before long. You just never know.
I don't think there's going to be any fatigue setting in, Shane, and I don't want to play the antagonist here, but I saw these teams scarfing down some hot dogs and some brats in between games. And,
like teenagers do.
You get some nutrition like that.
Yeah.
Going, in the digestive tract, and, it's good food, for thought, mental food. A hot dog,
yeah,
relish.
All healthy hot dogs, I'm sure. That's just me. I'm not a hot dog guy, but I know all these teens are baseball players and the like.
I mean, hot dog is like synonymous with baseball, Shane. You go to a baseball game, you get a hot dog.
Oh, well, you can get a hamburger, too. I see them there for sale right behind us. I'm a hamburger
You don't
guy.
see them, you smell them.
That's true.
That's what's
Yeah.
that's what's going on.
And we've got an 0-2 count here now for number 8, Brendan Ennis.
9. I think that's a 9. I think that's
Is that
Eli
a 9?
Burns.
Yeah, that is a 9. Yep. Fold in the shirt led me to miscall a number there, and he's got a strikeout. That's Owen Waha, his 3rd strikeout of the evening. Up to bat now is number 7, Dawson Carey. Now, you can't mistake that number.
Is that because he hit a home run the first time up?
Could be that, or it could be it's just 2 straight lines. That makes it pretty simple, too. But, yeah, the home runs, that's helpful. Owen Waha came into this first inning with, this third inning with 22 pitches. Make that 26 now as he gets his first strike. Dawson Carey had 55 through 4. And that one goes high, 1-1.
Dawson Carey, one of 2 Red Devils that'll get a free maple creamy ice cream from the Maple Tree Maple Syrup Ice Cream Store in East Jordan.
I don't know where that went, Charles, but it sounded deep.
Yeah, he pulled it into left field. Grima came over to field it and carries on with his second hit of the ball game. He's got a home run in the first inning, a single in the third inning. 2 for 2 here in game 2.
You know, that was a good reminder of how hard it is to be an outfielder when you're looking at the sun. I completely lost that thing. But here we are, 33, Ethan Thomas. Good stature, about 6'1". And a check down to first to keep Carey honest. Owen Waha staring down his target. Getting ready for his first pitch. 1 out, 1 man on. And that'll be a strike. Send down to second. No time at all. But he was safe.
Yeah, that throw was a little bit out and in front of second base. And Dawson Carey with a tremendous amount of speed. Had a good leadoff, got a good jump, timed it well. And even with a perfect throw, that would have been a tough play at second base to get the out.
As the dust clears the field, we've got a 0-1 count for Ethan Thomas now. Waha on the pitch. That one's just on the left side of the strike box there. 0-2. Carey looking dangerous there on second. Pitch, the pop-up. Pearl running for it. That'll likely go up and over the dugout, and indeed it does.
We've seen a lot of pop-ups,
Yeah.
down the first base line this afternoon. Probably indicative of a lot of these hitters having a hard time catching up to the fastball speed and the change of velocity and change of eye level with the off-speed breaking pitches that these pitchers have been featuring today.
The 0-2, swing and a miss. Owen Waha picks up his 4th strikeout tonight so far. Up to the bag now is number 28, Corbin Russell, who got our first home run, in the first game. The 2-run homer. East Jordan's only 2 points, although they were very close to taking the win in overtime.
Chance to do some damage here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Russell working on his golf swing a little bit there. Is that one dug in the dirt? One Waha up in the count, 0-1. With Carey still on second, that one chin high.
Looked like Waha reached back and found a couple more miles per hour in that fastball, Shane. That thing had some serious heat on it.
That one drops once again, catching Thomas swinging. Russell swinging. Boy, I have to have another sip of coffee here, Charles.
It's an impressive pitch sequence for Waha to be able to throw something in the mid-80s and come back, pull the string on a slider and a breaking pitch like that. That's out and away from the left-handed hitter.
And here we go, the 1-2 count. East Jordan crowd messing around a little bit with Waha here. We've got 2 outs. Russell's trying to keep East Jordan alive here. The bottom of the 3rd.
That almost looked like a designated pitch-out pitch from Waha. The Raiders looked like they might have been anticipating a steal attempt, so they arranged the pitch-out. That
one foul tipped. Some stagnant play here in the last about minute or so. Owen Waha hanging in there.
Yeah, it kind of feels like everybody here's got like a food coma.
That or spent too much energy in the first game.
7 innings, yeah.
And that'll be a ball full count now.
I think it's the food coma, Shane.
Could be.
I mean, it was hot dogs, burgers, brats, pizza. I mean, in about 10 minutes.
Yeah. Nice and warm out here. I tell you what, a full stomach and warmth is a recipe for a nap as he gets that one out. Corbin Russell is out, giving Waha his 5th strikeout of the evening now in 3 innings.
So we'll head to the top of the 4th inning. Top of the 4th inning, today's game brought to you by Bergman Marine. Bergman Marine, your Charlevoix Marina destination for all access to Lake Charlevoix, Lake Michigan, your boating needs. You might be able to put your dock and your lift in, but if you're struggling trying to get that boat into the water, you need to trust Bergman Marine to do so, able to store it all winter long and then transport it safely and get it in to the boat launch just in time for Memorial Day weekend. That's Bergman Marine. And some other sponsors we want to thank. We want to thank our friends at the Lemerand Agency Insurance, representing Farm Bureau Insurance in Charlevoix, Michigan. Also the Charlevoix Agency Insurance, Culvers of Charlevoix as well. You know, for all those different insurance needs, whether it's, well, something as simple as your car getting hit by a fly ball at a baseball game. Charlevoix Agency Insurance and the Lemerand Agency Insurance of Farm Bureau Insurance are ready and capable because they've seen a thing or two. So, I mean, some of the stories that you hear from our friends at the Lemerand Agency or Don Jess with Charlevoix Agency Insurance, you know, you
leave
sit
your head scratching a little bit, I imagine.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
you sit around a table with them or have a beverage with one of those guys every now and then, and they've got some pretty interesting stories to tell on claims that they've covered. So, for when life hits you with the unexpected, so see our friends at Farm Bureau Insurance or Charlevoix Agency Insurance. Proud sponsors of Charlevoix baseball this afternoon on this beautiful afternoon in northern Michigan. We're live from East Jordan. Raiders versus Red Devils. We're knotted up at 1, and the first game went 3-2, but needed extra innings to decide it, and I wouldn't be surprised if the second one does as well, Shane.
Well, Owen Waha takes his first strike there, but I couldn't agree with you more on the weather. I'll take this any day over the sub-50-degree temperatures that we had in our first game. I had a sweatshirt, 2 jackets on, and was still shivering as Owen Waha goes swinging there for strike 2.
Really, it's apparent that Carey has settled into a nice rhythm on the mound.
Pop fly to shallow center. Cicero there to catch it. Indeed he does. First out of the inning. That'll bring up Sterrett once again at the top of the order here, looking to do some damage. Neither team has scored a run here in the previous inning and a half. As he goes swinging for the fences there, just under the ball for a strike.
Once again, Carey featuring that fastball, changing the eye level.
That one hits the ground about 3 feet before the plate. We go to 1-1. Pop fly right up over the second baseman. Catches it no problem. We've got 2 outs.
And I believe, see, that was number 6. I believe it's Anderson.
Steve Anderson?
I believe so.
Okay.
We'll double check that in between innings. 2 outs now in the top of the 4th.
Pitch high and away, 1 ball, no strikes. 2 men out so far for the Raiders. Still a 1-run game between the two. Bryce Johnson at the plate. takes that one helmet high as well. One and one, swing and a miss. Make that a ball and 2 strikes. I don't know. I think their count's a little off there on the board, Charles. And that one's low.
In fairness, Shane, my count was a little off too.
Okay. Well, we'll just follow the board. 3 and 1 is the count, hopefully. Swings and misses there. Indeed, it is a full count. I know the board at home has fallen victim to quite a few miscounts. I always see the ref giving out proper ones and they making the subsequent changes, but so far East Jordan looks to have it on top. So they've got a nice LED scoreboard. I got to give it to them. That is a beautiful scoreboard. And he takes ball 4. Bryce Johnson, first one to take the base successfully here in this inning.
So it was indeed a full count, Shane.
Yeah. Up to bat now once again, we've got number 1, Jack Dreama, one of 2 seniors on. He has not gotten a hit so far this evening. Is that check free and clear for Johnson? Dawson Carey came into this inning with 55 pitches, showing not much signs of wearing down as he sends that one straight down the center. 1 strike against number 1, Jack Dreama.
Yeah, Carey also pitched that 7th inning for the Red Devils too. It's a precarious situation to be thrown into as a pitcher, coming in the 7th inning when you're typically accustomed to being a starting pitcher, and it's one that you're not really used to. You know, starting pitcher, you're used to your different type of warm-ups and things like that. As Dreama sends that one back to second base, and nice play made by Anderson, just going over, ranging over, stepping on second base to get Dreama in the Raiders. So, Shane, we're going to the bottom of the 4th here. This game moving relatively quickly as well. These pitcher duels are, I think, just as interesting to watch as games when teams are jacking the ball out of the park all the time.
I would agree with you for those who are like us, who are here to witness the technicalities of the game. Now, for the crowd, on the other hand, who's, you know, the general American public likes to see a few more runs, but I do agree. When you get to see up close and personal the technicalities and the arsenal that these pitchers have to offer, it's quite fascinating indeed, especially for just high school players and their ability to deliver all sorts of fastballs, sinkers, curveballs, anything under the sun at a pretty high speed too, 85 plus miles an hour. As we've got number 8 for East Jordan, Brendan Ennis once again, about ready to make his 3rd appearance at home plate in tonight's 2nd game. 1-1 score. Teams have not scored now in 2 full innings as we enter the bottom of the 4th. Waha comes into this game with 39 pitches. Been pretty efficient so far with 5 strikeouts. And he delivers a slow curveball right there for strike 1. On pitch number 2, swinging low goes Ennis. That'll be his 2nd strike now. Oh, 0-2 in Waha's favor as he goes in for the strikeout. That one does hit the dirt right in front of home plate. Make that a 1-2 count. Brendan Ennis had a couple of timely hits earlier on here in the first game. So far has yet to make good contact with the ball here in the second. And that one goes right down the middle and earns Waha his 6th strikeout of the evening. He and Johnson both working at an efficient clip. Johnson had 13 strikeouts earlier on in the first game, and now Owen Waha is 6th through 3.5. Up to bat now, number 10, the catcher, Ben Reed. Takes that one just on the upper right corner. Left-handed batter. The 0-1, that one's cut right down to the second baseman. The throw is in time.
Yeah, Troy Nickel made a nice play. It was hit right at him.
Yep.
So he knew he had time. Kind of took a weird hop before it got to his glove, but as I said, he knew he had enough time where he was able to field it cleanly off the bobble and get it back over to Hunter Lemerand to get Reed.
So I've got Ryder Malpus up to bat. He was caught in a precarious situation earlier on in the 7th inning of the first game. Takes his first strike now. 2 out for the Red Devils. Waha getting his 6th strikeout so far in this inning. 2 strikes now against Malpus. As the sun's getting ready to set down over the trees before too long.
I'd say we still got about an hour and a half worth of daylight today, Shane, give or take.
Yeah, I guess it is only 7:15. That one cuts back towards our camera. You can see the, well, I guess that's not on our current view, but on our control panel we can see the fence took a pretty hefty hit. The 0-2. High and away. Top of the helmet for Malpus, who stands about, I'd have to hazard a guess, right about 6'1". The 1-2 pitch. High and over the glove of Pearl it goes. Lucky there was no one on base there, as we've got a 2-2 count.
2-2 count, 2 outs, and
Yeah.
a 1-1 game.
Yeah.
Did he go around? No.
Nope.
That was even. So we didn't have it correct on our screen. We had it as no balls and 2 strikes, but it was a 2-2 count.
Yep.
So it'll be a full count now on the tall, lengthy righty.
We didn't have it right. Malpus didn't quite have it right either. He was ready to take his base. And he goes swinging for that one. Boy, I wish he could have had the base now as Waha gets his 7th strikeout.
Yeah, Waha came back. He was a little bit off with that most recent inning, I thought. You know, it looked like he was trying to find the strike zone at different times and just couldn't locate the fastball. East Jordan does a good job of mixing up the right-handed and left-handed hitters. So sometimes for a pitcher, when you're presented with going from right to left-handed hitter, that changes your perception. When your perception is changed, you can oftentimes just miss by a couple inches of being off the right side of the plate or the right side of the strike zone, or being high, low, etc. And I believe the Red Devils actually have 4 left-handed hitters, 3 or 4 left-handed hitters, as they feature a lot of power from both sides of the plate. So these two schools separated by roughly 15 miles, maybe about 65 students, the difference between enrollment for Charlevoix and East Jordan, Shane. Maybe upwards of 65 to 90 depending on the class size, but not separated by a lot on the scoreboard here today. 3-2 game in the first half of today's doubleheader. Now a tie game at 1 through 4 innings of play as we go to the top of the 5th. Raiders due up will be Bergman, and then the top of the order in Starrett and Nickel.
Bergman had a great hit earlier, bringing home one of our Raiders in order to tie up the game about midway through the first game. He's looking to have another good impact here, being one of the only Raider players to get on base so far in this game, as he takes 2 balls. No strikes so far by Carey. Carey comes into this inning with 72 pitches, as Waha finished the last inning with 52. And a 3-0 count in Bergman's favor. Ball 4. Bergman takes his base, bringing Starrett up to potentially bring home a nice big hit. Seen him from him plenty so far this season. But one thing I've noticed, Charles, and you saw the St. Francis game. I was not there for that. But have the Raiders gotten a home run so far this season? We've seen some home runs against us, as he's got a high short pop up there. That'll be caught by Dawson most likely, and indeed it is.
You know, to answer that question, Shane, we haven't seen a home run for a game that we've covered.
Okay.
So because I don't know the complete answer to that question, I'm going to give you the complete answer that I know for a fact.
Well, that's what you want to go as. You want to be factual. So that brings Jarima back up now, as he takes that one right down the middle. 0-1, one man out.
Yeah, good opportunity here for Troy Nickel and the Raiders in the top of the 5th inning to see if they can get something going, as he takes one, looked like in the middle of the back, as he tried to pirouette out of the batter's box, but an off-speed pitch, maybe a changeup from Carey, just got away from him, and Nickel will advance to first base. And now something brewing here for the Raiders, as A.J. Spiegel has runners on first and second.
That one just outside the strike zone to the left. Troy Nickel took that one in stride, didn't even see a wince of pain from him there, as that one's knocked past first and second base into right field, thrown all the way home, and we've got runners on all 3 bases.
Yeah, that was a pretty strong throw in from right field. It was Brendan Ennis who's playing right field in the second half of today's game, and he caught that one, charged it, and threw it home. Didn't even need the cutoff man to do so, Shane. As bases loaded for the Raiders with Pearl.
Pearl swinging low for that one, goes foul. Your ball's 1 strike, 1 man out, bases loaded in the Raiders' favor here. A very potentially pivotal moment in tonight's doubleheader for the Raiders to open up a lead, potentially the biggest we've seen so far tonight. And we've got Pearl calling time.
Here's the pitch from Carey. Pearl going to take that one high for ball 1. 1-1 the count now to Pearl with the bases loaded. The cleanup hitter for the Raiders, as he waits on the 1-1 delivery, which is a strike on the outside third of the plate for strike 2. Actually, just missed. My apologies. That was ball 2. Pearl's going to hit this one into left center field. It is caught. Tagging is Bergman, and he will score on the sacrifice fly from Ryan Pearl. But a base running error by Bergman was committed. The home plate umpire said that he did not tag successfully, and that will be a double play, and the Raiders will be out in the top of the 5th, unable to do anything with the bases loaded. The double play, Raiders strand 2 runners, and they're out on the call out, saying that Bergman didn't successfully wait to tag up once that ball was caught.
Bergman will look back on that one with a bit of regret for sure, but mistakes happen. It's sports after all. Things happen all the time. So you can't be stuck on it too long here, as we're getting ready to go into the bottom of the 5th. Still a 1-1 game.
And like I said earlier, baseball is just one of those games where it's a series of ironically linked events.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Bergman makes a really nice play in right field this inning. You know, flashing some leather out there, doing something that we've seen him do a couple times this season, make a nice, tremendous catch. It's just one of those games where you have a lot of different opportunities to redeem yourself, depending on your position, depending on where and when. And as I mentioned earlier, it is a game where Murphy's Law is on full display.
Yeah. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Gotta love it.
Yep, that is the definition of it. I mean, that's kind of the, baseball in a nutshell.
Yeah, right? And that's why it's been so successful for 120 plus years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The American pastime, right?
Mm-hmm.
As we're going into the bottom of the fifth inning, this is the aforementioned fifth inning stretch here on Next Level Broadcasting. We're gonna stretch it out as we're sitting just to the left of home plate here. Shane Smith along with Charles Strail, the crew of Next Level Broadcasting, bringing this one to you. It is just past 7:20 Eastern time this evening, as this second game is moving along with quite the pace.
Yeah.
As
well, we saw that in the first game too, and then it went to extra innings and turned quite hairy for a little while. So we'll see how this goes. Waha comes into this game with 52 pitches. First pitch is indeed a strike against number 22, Hunter Cesaro there. One of the smallest members on the East Jordan squad, but boy, has he made an impact there in outfield in both games so far.
Yeah, he's made a really good habit of being able to track the ball off of the bat once it's hit in the air, and that's really impressive for an outfielder to be able to do.
And 3 pitches up, 3 pitches down. Owen Waha gets his 8th strike out. There, strikeout, 2 words, not 1. Number 6, this is Steven Anderson, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, all right. We don't have him written down on our sheet, so going off of memory here, which, if you haven't known yet, is not like the elephant that Charles is. I'll tell you that much. But Steven Anderson picks up his first ball. And that one's a strike low as Anderson goes swinging. Ball and a strike is the count. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Each team has 1 run. Make that 1 and 2. And Anderson catches that one off the dirt swinging, and he's caught out in plenty of time. The second out it goes.
Well, Shane, I think we've reached another stage of the food coma because the crowd here is just kind of, taking it in, watching the game, enjoying the sunshine, and not a lot of energy at the moment. Maybe we should rename it the fifth inning
Slump?
coffee break.
Coffee. Okay, well, as I'm taking my coffee right now.
I think of the fifth inning coffee break, shout out to our friends at Big B Coffee in Charlevoix.
There you go.
If you want to get a hold of us for future references, we can certainly arrange something.
Get a one-time free promo until you strike up a deal with the boss man over here. We've got a newcomer, pinch hitter number 27. We don't have his name. Charles, off your memory, do you know?
We're going to look to find an accreditation.
Well,
Owen Waha got another strikeout.
9 strikeouts now. We'll work on getting that name here momentarily.
For the Red Devils, it was, I think it might have been a pinch hitter.
It was, yep. Number 22. Nope.
No, it was Nathan Hector.
Yep.
So he's subbing in, probably going to take a place in outfield for one of the Red Devil outfielders. And we go to the top of the 6th. Since the second inning, nothing but goose eggs up on the board and scoreless frames for both teams.
Mm-hmm. Other than Waha, throwing a great last
game, but Carey also pitching a gem in his own right. This will be the only time that these two teams square off and play each other this year. For everyone watching at home or listening at home, typically, baseball, you can have right around 40 games, and a lot of teams schedule high amounts of games because in northern Michigan, a lot of games are rained out.
Or snow.
Or like if you live in Negaunee, you get 3 feet of snow in April.
Actually, first week of May it was.
Yeah, happy Easter.
Right.
And so a lot of teams have games rained out or snowed out, and because of that, you have to schedule a lot of games. So you have a large variance, and some teams have played 26, 30 games. Some teams have only played 15, 16. So it really just all depends on how the weather is with the season and where your schedule is made up and what geographical region the teams you're playing are in.
Well, here we go. We got the man, the myth, the pitcher himself. Number 11, Owen Waha squaring up against Carey one more time as that one bites the dust. I use that analogy a little bit too much, but I think it's fine. As Carey came into this inning with 84 pitches, Waha came out of the last inning with 62, and that one goes helmet high. 2-0 is the count.
Well, if the owners of the Queen copyright tracks come after me, Shane, I'll just defer them to you.
Yeah, I'll take the blame on that one. I'll honestly take that as an honor if they so happen to listen to our broadcast.
Yeah, okay.
Not that I'm a Queen fan, but I'm just saying,
Fair enough.
be cool to have someone of that stature. 2-1, make that 3-1. Carey might be getting a little bit out of rhythm here as he's getting towards 90 pitches in tonight's game. Well, not before he throws a strike and makes it full count, though.
Well, you got to keep in mind that he also pitched the 7th inning
That's true.
of the first game as well.
Can't forget about that. So he's probably right at or over 100 by now as he makes that one ball 4. Owen Waha takes his base.
Yeah, it looked like that one just missed by a sliver on the inside half of the plate.
How about a stitch?
A stitch, sliver, inch. Now, an inch would be too much.
Yeah.
As the Raiders have the leadoff man on, Lemerand stepping into the batter's box for the Raiders. Still 1-1 game.
Takes that one, bunts it right down the line. And that'll go foul, sending Lemerand all the way back from first base. The return foul drop.
Well, Shane, as the sun is continuing to set in the west down the third base line here from where we sit, the wind, which was a little, 5 to 6 miles per hour at the first pitch of the first game, it's completely dead silent here right now at East Jordan. I mean, there's roughly no wind whatsoever. It was blowing in a little bit from left field to home plate at time of first pitch around 4:30 today, but at the moment, nothing to speak of.
No. I couldn't ask for a better temperature right now to just relax here and watch a good couple of baseball games as we've got a little trouble now for Lemerand. 0-2 in the count. That one bites. I'm not going to say it. Hits the dirt. There we go. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We have to find new terms.
Or just change the CDs in your car.
Oh, I am a country guy through and through. I just happen to listen to rock all the time at work. As that one pops well outside of foul territory, that'll go over towards the street up and over the left field fence. Still 1-2 count.
I wonder if there's ever been a home run hit in this park that has carried over into the softball diamond.
That would be a monster of a hit, but I suppose it's possible. I mean, if our first home run by Russell had been edged over there to the left, it would have gotten pretty close, I imagine.
I mean, a dead pull hitter from the right-hander's batter's box, as Lemerand rips one down the left field line over the head of the left fielder. It'll go to the fence, being waved around third. Actually, holding at third is Owen Waha, and Hunter Lemerand is on board with a 2-strike double. And the Raiders have something brewing here early in the top of the 6th inning.
One of our big hitters, Bryce Johnson, now looking to clean things up with 2 runners on, trying to get some action going here, as we've had now 3.5 innings since the last score was made, and we're taking a second. Owen Waha taking a little bit of a breather there on the third base bag.
And we're also going to have a pitching change for the Red Devils. It will be, it looks like we're working on getting a number.
That number 9?
If it's number 9, that'd be shortstop Eli Burns coming in to relieve Dawson Carey. So Carey's full statistics, he goes 5 full innings pitched, 1 earned run. Don't have an official tab for his strikeouts, but a well-pitched 5 innings for Dawson Carey, and Burns will substitute in for the Red Devils here in the top of the 6th inning to be tasked with trying to get the 8, 9, and leadoff hitters for the Raiders. Raiders have 2 hitters on base. Actually, the 7, 8, and 9 hitters. Johnson, Dreama, and Bergman, as it's Lemerin and Waha who have started this rally in the top of the 6th inning. And it will be up to Burns and the rest of the Red Devil fielders to try to work themselves out of this jam.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any gear grinds like Charles and I have been having, you might want to take your car into the nearest body shop and then, send the bill over to your insurance company, Charlevoix Insurance, and help me out with the other one, Farmers Insurance.
The Lemerend Agency
Lemerend
Insurance.
Agency. Okay.
Farm Bureau representative. Yeah, they'd be happy to set you up with an auto policy, and especially now that your teenage daughters or sons are looking for their first cars. Got to get proper insurance. There's a lot of fender benders in the high school parking lot, isn't there, Shane?
Yeah, I would say saw a few back in my day. Wasn't a part of any, thank goodness.
But you were a bystander.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Of course you had to be a bystander to witness something like that in high school. Love those embarrassing moments for kids as Johnson picks up his 3rd strike. And
yeah, that's a tough pitch. A good pitch by Burns. Pulled the string on a curveball, and it started off about belt high and dropped right above the knee. Got Johnson looking on the called 3rd strike for the first out. Big first out for the Red Devils here with the Raiders. An opportunity for the Raiders to turn the lineup over, have the top of the order due up if one more hitter can get on base.
Eli Burns picking up his first strikeout here, sends that one a bit high. 1-1 goes the count. Runners on 2nd and 3rd for the Raiders. That one's knocked right by the 3rd baseman and shortstop, bringing Waha home. Raiders take the lead for the first time in tonight's 2nd game. 2-1 is the score.
Big time RBI single for Jack Dreama and the Raiders. He got his pitch, saw it coming out of the hands of the pitcher, turned on it and pulled it just past the outstretched glove of the 3rd baseman into shallow left field, or left. Yeah, it was left field.
Yeah, it was out there. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not losing my mind.
Yeah. We both have our moments. Two men on, 1 man out. Bergman takes that one eye high.
And what this does now for the Red Devils, it does put the double play back in order. So anything hit on the ground to shortstop or second base would probably be a routine double play ground ball, which is exactly what Eli Burns is. That would be his best case scenario right now. Slow roller to shortstop or second base.
Eli Burns looking to pull a fast one. On 1st or 3rd, they both take hefty leadoffs. And the steal to 2nd and plenty of time.
And a good job
by Jarima there.
Good job by Dreamer to steal the base, but good discipline behind home plate for Ben Reed, not trying to throw the runner out at second, which would have allowed the runner at third to come home and score.
A little pop up there by Bergman, and there's the double play.
So the Raiders out in the top of the 6th inning. They get one. And Red Devils will have their opportunity for their last at-bats in the bottom of the 6th inning coming up after this. And so for the Raiders, they strand 2 more runners. Yet another inning-ending double play for Charlevoix. I believe that's the 3rd one we've seen. 2nd in consecutive innings. The inning prior, the Raiders had, I believe it was the inning prior, Shane. They had a sacrifice fly that led to a double play as well. So consecutive inning-ending double plays for Charlevoix as they strand 4 runners in subsequent innings. So it'll be Owen Waha back on the mound in the bottom of the 6th inning to try and slam the door against the Red Devils. Waha so far this game with 9 strikeouts, doing his thing on the mound. 1 earned run was a home run in the first inning.
Yeah.
Dawson Carey took the leadoff at bat and put it over the fence, and since then Owen Waha has been cruising, but he'll be working against the top of the Red Devil order here, led off by the aforementioned Dawson Carey.
Yeah.
So Carey with an opportunity with 1 swing of the stick to tie this game up.
I wouldn't put it past him. We'll say that.
Well, he's got a track record.
Yeah, he does.
He's got a track record so far in this game. He's got a home run and a single. And an opportunity here in the bottom of the 6th inning to even it up with 1 swing.
Pearl with a quick little conference by Waha to start things off here in the bottom of the 6th. We go. First pitch right down the middle, miss swing by Dawson. You could tell he was ready to knock that one out of the park. Sends that one deep. I don't think that'll be home run depth. Gets right up to the fence, though, and caught by our center fielder. Is that Patrick Sterrett, Charles, out there?
Yeah, once again, Patrick Sterrett got a really good jump as he was able to track the ball off of the bat when the ball was hit by Carey. He sprinted quickly, got in position, and kind of coasted as he was able to make the catch. That's what you want to do playing center field. You don't want to be running full speed when you try to make those catches. If you don't have to.
Yeah, right. And that pitch will be high and over the road once again. Boy, this is one of the taller backstops I've seen in a field, probably some 30 feet, at least 25, and every single foul tip pretty much has gone up and over it. As we've got a strike so far against number 33, Ethan Thomas, make that 2 with 1 out.
Ethan Thomas got the rally going for the Red Devils in the first game today. He had a single up the middle, and then he scored on the home run
by Corbin Russell.
Yeah, as he went down on 3 consecutive pitches. Owen Waha, even though it's the 6th inning, he's really kind of digging deep to find what he has left in the tank, finding a little bit more gas for that fastball.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't know that he's 75 plus deep into this game, as he's got now his 10th strikeout as he stares down Corbin Russell, the home run maker, earlier on in this evening. Chops that one right to second, picked up and thrown to first. No time at all. That'll end the game for the Raiders. They sweep the series on East Jordan, Charles.
A tremendously well-pitched game in the second game by Owen Waha. The first game, you know, the late inning heroics and theatrics by the Raiders to come back, and I don't want to say steal that one, but the way that game was going, the trajectory of the first game, I think the Raiders came back and stole that game. And then the way that they were able to get this hard-earned 1-win game in the second half of the doubleheader, They come out of East Jordan with 2 wins, each won by only 1 run.
Yeah.
So
testament to how strong both of these teams
both
are.
these teams played well. Each game was basically a 1-hit difference, or 1 walk, 1 error difference of each game. Well played by both teams, and a lot of mutual respect out there on the field as we see 2 teams shaking hands. Raiders come out with a sweep of the East Jordan Red Devils as they are now in the driver's seat for the Lake Michigan Conference. And we thank everyone for tuning in this afternoon, watching another production of Next Level Broadcasting's coverage of high school baseball. For Shane Smith and myself, Charles Strail, we thank you for tuning in. Have a great night, everyone.